As a flesh tuber, you're obligated to pat the VTuber's head.
Oh, I want to see that. I have your stream open. I am putting that in the vlog. Welcome everyone to Fortcast. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you first.
I was just about to say that I finished the chicken quest.
Welcome everyone to Fortcast Fridays. This is episode 2. I will be hosting. I am here with Natalie Tay, co-founder and partner for Chamdrinkers. In today's episode, we will be talking about streaming as a small streamer.
Yeah, isn't it a little bit weird that for the first episode we immediately jumped to talking about, the streaming ecosystem and the economics of said system, and we went so deep and complex for the first episode. Then at the end of the episode we realized that, hey, we didn't even talk about the fundamental reason why we began this podcast.
True. But I think that's the reason why. I mean, it was more of an introduction, really. The first episode, and it was a pilot episode.
True. But yeah, I think especially I think that both of us are definitely still considered smaller channels, and in fact, a lot of the Cham Drinkers are still considered relatively small channels, and I guess it's just because on Twitch the difference between a small channel and a large channel is incredibly vast. I think even among us, what is considered a large amount of, let's say, taking followers into account as a metric, right? Monty sitting at 1.3k followers feels like an unfathomable number, but it's still just a drop in the ocean of what a large channel on Twitch can be. So yeah, I guess today we wanted to talk about our personal experiences to just sort of set the foundation of that, because in future episodes we definitely want to bring in guests to talk about their experiences with growing their channels as well, because one of the things we were talking about so much before we started the podcast was this idea of we're all on similar streaming journeys, but each of us has had to go through very different channel growth challenges, and everybody's had a unique experience, even though we're all having kind of this journey together.
I mean, everyone's got their own different experiences when it comes to streaming. Because some people do it in very different ways, and also it really depends on the games that you play. So we're definitely not going to be able to cover it as a whole, but we will definitely be sharing our experiences, and also based on our observations of not just within the Chump Drinkers, but also streaming as a Southeast Asian thing. Because that's, in the end of the day, that's really our main focus. Is the fact that we also want to support small streamers, especially Southeast Asian streamers, as much as we can. Even though our numbers itself is small, but I think we should support each other as content creators and as streamers.
For sure. I mean, that's why we started the Cham Drinkers, right? Because we started as kind of an unofficial Twitch team, and the whole idea was that we were supporting each other through, being in a team together.
I feel like in every single episode we will always say the reason why we started the Chum Drinkers.
I mean, when that reason is, so multifaceted, and we have so many reasons as to why we started it, I'm sure it will come up more than once. It is technically a Chum Drinkers podcast.
That is true. You gotta plug in the company.
We gotta integrate the big corporation. Ooh.
You gotta do the branding.
But yeah, do you want to kick it up? As the host,
Don't know why I'm still the host, but okay.
Because you wanted to be the host. What are you talking about?
That is actually true. But yeah, I guess we can start off with basically our experiences streaming from when we very first started till where we are now. I guess I'll go first
Yes, please.
because I feel like I'm definitely gonna forget a lot of the things because
You're gonna forget.
no okay. Okay, you have to agree with me on this idea. The fact that even though it's only been a year, it feels like so many things have happened.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so I
mean,
feel
we
like
talked about this like weird concept of time on Twitch in the last episode, I think.
yes, we did. But yeah, so for those who don't know, this is the second episode. The first episode, Ned and I were talking about our experience, just vaguely our experience of streaming. And the one thing that kept popping up was the fact that concept of time and streaming does not match. It's impossible for you to like properly sit down and think, okay, for the year of let's say 2022, what have I done for streaming, or even as content creators? It's really difficult to properly think like what are the things that you've done. Like I still think that I did the charity stream somewhat relatively close to
Like
the current
recently?
time. Yeah, recently. I still think I did it relatively recently, which I didn't.
Was it not?
No. It actually has been the last one I did was last year December. The reason why I remember is because it was for the flood victims.
Oh.
Right? It feels like such a short time ago, but it actually is such a long time ago.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, it's fucking weird, but it's really nice as well, to be completely honest. Like I genuinely do enjoy my streaming career, I guess you could say that, or like my experiences with streaming. I've met so many amazing people, not just on stream but also off stream. Like I've been going to a lot of events as of recent, meeting new other streamers as well. It's been real great fun, really. What about you, Nat? How has your streaming been for you?
I mean, yeah, it's been really cool so far. I mean, I said this once and I'll say it again. Like the social life that I have on the internet has definitely like changed 180 degrees since I started streaming, for sure.
Hmm.
And it's changed largely for the better. Like I've discovered a whole new ecosystem of, okay, not just a streaming ecosystem, but just like a network of friends, right? That I wouldn't have
Yeah.
known otherwise, you know, outside of streaming. And strangely enough, like I've even reconnected with a lot of IRL friends who I haven't talked to in ages, like high school friends, primary school friends who are active on Twitch, who have found me just through like socials, and they were like, "Hey, what the fuck? You stream?" And that's been really pleasant as well. I mean, that's just one of the.
You know what else people can relate? Challenges.
Oh no, my speaking of challenges, my OBS died.
I made such a good segue and it died.
Yeah, I think I'm okay. I think I'm back. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened.
You're back, you're back. No worries.
Okay, cool. Anyway, what was your segue?
What a perfect segue and it's now gone. But yes.
What was your segue?
But yes, just like every single thing in life, as fun as streaming has been, there's also the challenges that came with it. Nat, would you like to share your challenges with streaming?
I think you should start first actually while my stream stabilizes, just in case it dies again.
Fair enough. Should I? Okay, no. I think we should just wait till your stream stabilizes. Oh, someone respawned.
No, I think we're good. I think we're good. Okay, I think stream has properly stabilized. Alright. I think it's fine.
Hmm. Do I have to do my segue again?
No, go ahead, but you start first.
Um. So the thing about streaming is, obviously, to if your main focus of streaming is growth, then you'll need to be quote unquote consistent and relevant. And that's something I've actually been trying to grab my head around, because the one thing I'm very bad at is being consistent. Like, I cannot keep a schedule for the life of me. And so I do try to be more sporadic with my streams. Like, I try to do more streams, but even if it's a short stream, I still try it. Did not work because of a work-life balance, or the lack of it. And in terms of like just being relevant, I think at first a lot of people would have the problem with that. Like, I need to stay relevant, I need to play what everyone's playing on Twitch, or what everyone is playing on Twitch. It took me, even though streaming has not been being a full-time streamer is not my main goal, it took me, I would say, like a solid 6 months just to like have that thought of, I don't need to stream what people want me to stream, I just want to stream whatever I want to stream. It took me a solid 6 months to really wrap my head around that. Yeah. Because it's not like I want streaming to be a full-time career. It's never been a dream, because I don't think it's viable. But that's a topic for another day. But it's just, I don't know, it's just hard, because you still want the numbers. You still want to see like your growth going up, your follower count going up, and you want to entice more people to come to your stream. And numbers is one of the ways.
I agree. I think it's, rather than it being, I don't know, fame chasing or however people might view it, I think it's just very, like, I don't know, inherent in human nature. I mean, there isn't a single person I know who streams that doesn't care about the numbers, because whether you like it or not, it does affect you to a certain degree, and it becomes like a huge part of your decision making when you stream. Because honestly, if you I don't know if I know anybody who streams without caring about the numbers per se. And honestly, the only reason why I'm able to care about the numbers less is because I have reached a point where I'm comfortable with where I am.
And how long did that take for you?
Ooh, good question. I think,
because like I said, it took me 6 months to not care about the numbers afterwards.
I don't think I have a date per se, or like a milestone point where that I stopped worrying about that. But I don't know. It's really hard for me to answer this question actually, because I do feel like, just to touch on my stream growth in general, right? It was very accelerated. So there was a lot of things that I had to, that maybe were big points in other people's streaming journeys, that for me, like, just happened really quickly, and I had to pick it up and like put it down as I went along really quickly, because it was just like everything was going too fast, and there was no way to like really stop and linger on things for too long,
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think it took at least like 6 to maybe 8 months to get really like since I started streaming about like 6 to 8 months to get really comfortable with the community that I had and the streaming style that I had and the content that I was doing. Like it did definitely take that amount of time for everything to sort of like firm up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's exactly the same thing that you meant.
No, it makes sense. It makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah. So you mentioned earlier there was that your streaming growth, I guess, suddenly accelerated. Was there anything in particular that you can think of as to why it accelerated? Like, was it a game that you were doing? Was it the fact that you were pushing out content outside of streaming?
No, when I started, it was definitely not the content outside of the stream, because I wasn't doing any content outside of streaming, basically. I mean, I
Yeah.
had a Twitter, but it wasn't. Sorry, my mom just sneezed in the background.
Bless her.
They say bless you. But yeah, where was I? Yeah, I wasn't doing any content outside of stream. I was just maybe like promoting on Twitter, pretty much. But yeah, it was fully streaming. And when I was thinking about, or when I've answered this question in the past, right? I always used to attribute it to the fact that I started streaming with horror games. And
Yeah.
I think it was much easier for me to hit affiliate because I naturally fit into like that niche of like girls who play horror games.
Weirdo.
I am dead, by the way.
How did you die?
Wow,
Oh,
he's
you're getting shot
granting
at.
me a slow death.
Yeah, I see a couple of other people.
Oh man. But yeah, now I can actually focus on what I was saying.
Yeah. About growth.
But yeah, I used to attribute it a lot to me being a horror game streamer, and naturally like fitting into the niche of playing horror games, being a girl, and then that itself being a niche in the Malaysian streaming scene, because the Malaysian streaming scene is very overpopulated, I would say, with a lot of FPS players, a lot of Genshin players. So the moment that you exist somewhere out of the norms, that kind of attracts attention, or at least I thought that was what happened at the start for me. But you know, I recently celebrated 1 year, right? And I did a clip show where I looked back at clips from the beginning of the channel, and the quality of the streams were so scuffed in the beginning that I'm like, dude, even if I fit into the niche, who was watching this scuffed level like content? Like the tech was so bad, the setup was so bad, I sounded bad because I was using like headphone mics instead of a proper like mic.
Yes,
I struggled with like a screen echo issue for like months. Like my audio was just echoing onto itself for months and I couldn't figure out why. And people still stayed throughout it, so I don't know, for reasons that I cannot comprehend now. But yeah,
because it's about the streamer.
I mean, I guess maybe.
Ask your chat, don't ask me.
But yeah, I feel like the horror game aspect definitely like catapulted me a bit, and then I could probably attribute a lot of the rest of the growth, or the super rapid growth to the games that I was playing, because I played a lot of huge classic titles. And I was experiencing huge follower growth because of it. And I've no doubt that it was just because of the type of game that I was playing. Like, I was playing Resident Evil 2, which has such a cult following. I was playing God of War, which has a cult following. I was playing Red Dead Redemption 2, which has a cult following. You know, like, a lot of these, like, titles.
Yeah.
And then I think I was just lucky that I found people in chat who were excited to follow a variety streamer and follow the games that I played, because at the start I definitely noticed, even though my followers were going like crazy, not like a lot of people would leave the moment you swap to another game, because that's just how it is. Like some people just follow you for a specific game. And I attribute like a lot of my initial like follower growth to that kind of that specific scenario happening. But like I mean, like, follower growth is follower growth, right? And because of it, regardless of how many of them stayed after that, like I still experienced a lot of the growing pains faster than I expected to, I think is the right way to describe it.
Sorry, what did you... Growing pains, you said?
Yeah, growing pains.
What is that?
Like, when your community is like all of a sudden way too big, to the point where you're not sure how to handle it. And of course all of this is relative, right? Like I was hitting the milestone of like 400 500 followers, right, before I was ready to handle the milestone of 400 500 followers, and I was hitting like, I mean, even back then, right, like hitting 8 or 9 people on stream who were like actively chatting in chat, that was difficult for me to manage, because it was maybe like 5-6 months into streaming, because they were all coming in because I was playing a game that they loved, and like, as you know, that does attract a certain kind of like audience. And I mean, there's always gonna be like the typical like troublemaker kind of audience that you get on Twitch, but back then I was so new to it, and on top of that, before I became a streamer, I wasn't really a Twitch consumer, so I didn't know how to deal with it. And so like with my channel growth, that was probably the number one thing I struggle with the most in terms of challenges, right? Just to bring it back to that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
no, it makes sense.
That was probably the number one thing I just like struggle with the most, and I struggled with it for months and months, like at least like 4 or 5 months, I think, of the past year, of just like feeling like I'm constantly playing catch up.
It does not help the fact that you do have ADHD as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and streaming actually like pushed me to get it diagnosed because it was becoming such an issue, but that's another topic for another day.
See, who says streaming does not help people's lives, right? Yeah, no, I mean, I completely understand on like the fact that with more growth, definitely you have more active chatters, but because we're so used and so comfortable to, like, let's say our current numbers or current active chatters, it's very difficult to actually keep up with chat. And I noticed that even with big streamers, the one thing that they do quite often is the fact that they don't, like, they read chat but they don't acknowledge it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I totally get that, actually.
Yeah.
Because like I'm reading chat like most of the time, and I am acknowledging what chat is saying most of the time, but like more and more frequently recently, I can read it, but by the time I even, by the time, okay, because I play a lot of narrative heavy games, right? Games with like constantly moving action. It's not like maybe if I were playing like I don't know, Overwatch or something, or Fortnite, right? I can talk while playing the game because it's not like there's any dialogue going on in the background. It's not like this game demands like so much of my focus, you know. Like we can literally do a podcast while playing Fortnite. That's how like low key this game is. But you know,
True.
when I'm playing all these story heavy games, like by the time there's a gap in the narrative where I can stop and address chat a little bit, by the time that happens, like chat has moved on so far that even though sometimes I've acknowledged chatters in my head and I've read it in my head and digested it, I don't have a chance to even like speak it out, like read it out on stream.
Yeah.
So I totally get that. Yeah.
Are you getting shot at? No.
No, not me. But yeah, I guess already quite different from the challenge that you had with streaming. Although do I do have to say that from consuming a lot of other content creators' content, it did kind of help me with the growing pains. Like I didn't dwell on certain things as much as I might have, you know, if I didn't also like check out a lot of other content creators, or even like just follow the journeys that my friends were having. Because I was watching everybody else, you know, struggling with things like the challenge that you struggle with, right? Like of chasing trends or wanting to play the games that that were trending on Twitch, that a lot of people are playing on Twitch and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I was seeing this happen on like all the levels, right? From friends who were like around the same channel size as me, struggling with that, and then channels on a larger scale like struggling with burnout or struggling with like really unruly like chat, right? And it actually guided a lot of the way I responded to like a lot of these challenges. So it's not that they didn't happen to me, but I guess when the moment I started to feel something like that, I was able to immediately like realize that it was happening to me and oh, like, you know, I shouldn't dwell on it and like immediately move on, you know?
Oh yeah, no, I definitely agree with you on that.
Right? Because there's so many content creators to learn from now. And I think it's a resource that people don't look into as much.
Yeah, speaking of which, I kind of want to plug the person that we have in mind. Because I feel like... I keep forgetting her name.
You mean Caliente?
Yes, Caliente. For anyone who is very interested in streaming, whether you have started, whether you're starting, the one person that I look up to, and I think Nat as well, the one person that we always go to in terms of like knowing the more in-depth knowledge of streaming, by all means, everyone please visit her. I think should be the same on all mediums, Caliente. I don't think she changes her username anywhere. Lovely, amazing human being, and she gives a lot of insights. And I think that is also something that we strive to do with our Fortcast Fridays as well, with certain topics like today's topics. So even though we've been talking about, you know, the fact that we have come to a point with streaming that we don't chase for numbers, or the fact that we are fine and we're happy with where we are, what are the things that you have experimented in terms of like trying to grow your channel that has worked or has not worked?
I mean, before that, right, I think first to clarify on the idea of like not caring so much about numbers, is definitely because like, or at least for me personally, right, I've hit a level where it no longer is an active concern for me, which I feel very lucky for, because that's only because I've kind of hit the expectations that I have in my mind, right? of like what's a comfortable level for me. But I know a lot of people out there who like actively worry about this because they haven't reached a level that is comfortable for them, and yeah, that's a whole thing about
Oh
growth
yeah,
and,
no,
and
definitely.
perception towards growth. And yeah, like even though I am at that comfortable level, yeah, obviously I'm always trying to push for even more growth because I don't, not really as a fame thing, but as a personal challenge thing, I think. And then maybe like feeding the inherent human need for validation, right? Too real.
I did want to bring it up, but I wasn't sure how.
What, the
But I
inherent human need for validation?
yeah, I mean it's natural for you to desire validation, and sadly one of the main ways to do that is through numbers. I'm running out of bullets, just to let you know.
And yeah, I mean, I put a lot of time into Twitch, and I plan to put time into doing content outside of Twitch as well. So it obviously it's nice to if your efforts are recognized, right?
Yeah,
But yeah, having
definitely.
said that, because I feel like I needed to address that before I went into like the next part of what I was about to say, which is that,
Mm.
huh, things I've experimented with to push growth. Um, at the early stages, it was definitely my game choices. Like I definitely had a period of time where I was like experimenting with game choices.
Like
Um,
as a marketing thing, like you were playing the games mainly because like it was the game to play.
Not so much for that. But kind of like which games would work the best for me. Like which
Mm.
games complemented my streaming style, which games I was like I which games that actually like accentuated the streaming rather than took away from it. Cause like one thing I realized quite early on was that there are some games that are just not stream friendly.
Oh yeah.
Like games that I would love to play offline that I just can't play on stream because it just wouldn't make like entertaining stream content.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then yeah, I guess just like trying to find that balance took a while. I was experimenting with that quite a bit. There were a few series that I had that just never caught on because um they just didn't do well, to be frank.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I felt like it didn't bring out any like entertainment factor for me as a streamer. Um, Either because the game was like too chill or just like I didn't have much commentary to say about it. And then slowly, just by like trying different genres and different like game types, I've kind of settled on like what kind of games I do the best with, both from
Mm-hmm.
like an entertainer's perspective, but also a numbers perspective, to put it that way. Like one of the series, I'm trying to think back to like, do I have an exact example? Um, I think early on for me was probably Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, which I started playing for a while and then lost interest really quickly. And
Really?
yeah, because I realized that Pokemon games just aren't my type in general, which is why I don't plan to play the new Pokemon game or any Pokemon game on the channel ever again, I think. Because it's just not like my personal kind of game. But I did have a moment there where I was a bit like, oh no. I started this game, shouldn't I like try to finish it? But it was a slog every single day to like try and get it done. And then on the flip side of that, so wait, so Brilliant Diamond was a series that I abandoned because of that. But on the flip side, there's series like Disco Elysium for me, right? Which wasn't a matter of the game being like not my preferred kind of game, but in fact the issue was that I wasn't playing the game like back to back, which is the way that it demanded to be played. Because when I was playing that game specifically, I remember having this thought of like, oh, this game is really like lore heavy, and I don't know if it's everybody's like kind of thing because it's really different to what I usually stream. So maybe I'll do like one or two like if I do 4 streams a week, maybe I'll do like half or less Disco Elysium, and the rest of the week I'll fill up with some other things just to like balance it out, right? But it was not working for me because the momentum of like stopping Disco Elysium was ruining, like having to restart that momentum every single time I loaded into the game was ruining the experience for me. So
Yeah.
it's definitely been like a case by case exploration, I suppose.
People on me, buddy.
And as a variety streamer, it's almost always like a game by game, case by case like thing for me. Oh no. Yeah, as somebody who swaps games like every 2 or 3 weeks, you know, I start a new game every 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm almost always in a constant state of experimentation, but I do think at this point I'm quite I have some awareness, I guess, of what genres of games, what types of games do better and what don't, and I ironed a lot of that out in the early days of streaming.
Yeah, I think the one thing people need to know about streaming is that there is no one definite way of growth. There's it's because everything works differently for different people. Like for example, like for Natalie, you know, because she's a variety game streamer, she has to focus on the games that, one, she would feel like it will do well, and two, that she can provide entertainment on top of just playing the game. Whereas for me, I never really knew what my identity was as a streamer. Like, I wasn't an FPS hardcore player. I wasn't exactly playing narrative games all the time. But the one thing that I tried to do was to play like a lot more chill, open survival world kind of games. Like the biggest game I'm pretty sure till this day, or maybe till the day I die even, the biggest game that contributed to my channel growth is Minecraft. Because Minecraft has such a strong fan base.
Granted, the day you die, wow.
Yes, I will stand by the idea that Minecraft will be the biggest reason that my channel will grow. Granted, a lot of them are of the younger age audience, 18 and below, and I do tell them that this is not the space for them because I am still a PG-18 streamer, and the fact that I don't see myself as a good role model. Sorry?
Parental guidance, 18.
Sorry, yeah, no, PG-18.
It's not PG-18.
Is it not PG-18?
It's PG-13.
Ah.
Dude!
Look, it's been a while since I've watched a movie. But yeah, I mean, a lot of them were 18 and below, and I'm not exactly a good role model for them to look up to. So I tried to tell them off, like, hey, thanks for dropping by and you following me, but like, I'm not the right person to follow for you.
Actually, speaking of experimentation, right? Although this is a little bit of a tangent on experimentation, but I guess it kind of counts as well. Rather than experimenting on games, which was a fairly straightforward experience for me, the thing I experimented with more was probably chat moderation.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, because yeah, going back, just to touch slightly again on having like really accelerated growth before you're ready to have accelerated growth, right? Yeah, there, it's the biggest growing pain is definitely like just not being prepared to handle chat, truly, and especially because when I started streaming, I didn't have established rules on the channel. At least not. I had the basics, but just the basics, of
Yeah,
like no.
you had chat rules, but not enforcing it. Not
Yeah,
yet.
and I think it was just the I don't. It was probably just the regular standard chat rules that most people would apply to their channel, like when they first start, which is don't be rude, be like a nice person,
Just don't be a
um
dick.
yeah, like that kind of like blanket rule, right? And it was a huge learning curve for me to like develop and tweak chat rules as it went on, and then not to mention just like finding what rules were the biggest pain points for me, but on top of that, um learning how to enforce those rules in chat, right? And I know a
Mm,
lot of people just say, leave it to your mods to do that kind of thing. But I think when you're at a channel of this size, when you're a smaller streamer, um, there's a lot of chat policing that you just have to do by yourself.
definitely.
So I had to learn how to police chat by myself.
Especially when you're starting stream, like at the very first few streams that you do, maybe even for the next like 3 months or so, you don't have that many people that you can trust to mod unless you have like a group of friends that are supporting you. Then that's easy. But you also have to remember that they also will not be there all the time. So in the end of the day, you still need to know how to police your chat on your own.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe it's easier for others, but for me, what I noticed quite quickly is that there was a lot of things that I was uncomfortable with, and kind of struggled with that for a long time. Of like, so,
So I think we need to go back to main menu. Question mark.
oh, I think I forgot to ready up.
You just left.
Okay, we'll go back to main menu and like queue again.
Yep.
But yes, where was I? Yeah, like when I
Policing chat
first
yourself.
when I first started, yeah, even a few months into streaming, I realized quite quickly that there was a lot that I was uncomfortable with, and
Mm-hmm.
a huge struggle for me was overcoming that feeling of guilt for not being comfortable with things, which sounds ridiculous. But I was watching the streamers around me, and I was watching my friends who were streamers, and none of them seemed to like worry about the things that I was worried about, or the things that was happening to them didn't seem to bother them as much as it was bothering me.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, maybe it's something I just have to put up with. And it took a lot of chats with friends and a lot of chats with fellow streamers to realize that, oh, I don't really have to put up with anything if I don't want to put up with it. And then from there, it was an ongoing process of like tweaking my rules, making it like more detailed, specifically like highlighting rules that I am uncomfortable with, and then learning how to like enforce it in a calm way, I guess. Or at least at this point, whenever cases like these happen in chat now, I I have like a set of answers, in my head at least. It's not too shocking anymore where I'm like stunned, like why would you type something like that, and how do I respond to that? And as
Yeah.
I've talked to like a lot of smaller streamers of a similar like channel size, like even just within Charm Drinkers as well, right? When you first start streaming, there's a lot of cases where like people come into chat and they say something that is borderline like it 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 inherently feels rude, right? And
Yeah,
offensive,
it's like
but they're not
it's borderline TOS
technically
basically.
they're like not technically breaking any rules, you know?
Mm.
And like that was probably the biggest challenge for me where it was like, okay, I get that what you're saying is rude, but technically you're not, you know, violating any rules that I've set up on chat. But why does this make me so uncomfortable and why do I want you to stop? Like, now that I've talked to more streamers, I realize like this happens. These few cases that I have in mind, like, happen to quite a lot of streamers as their channels are growing.
Mm.
Like, okay, this stupid comment, right? Of like, why is your chat so silent? Why is nobody chatting?
Oh my
Oh
god,
my god.
I have not had that experience personally on my chat, but I've seen it happen. And whenever I see someone say that in someone's chat, I'm like, do you want to just, fuck off in the chat straight away? Because that is such a stupid and asshole-ish move to say. Like, why would you point it out?
Right? Right? Oh my god.
I think, was it you that tweeted about it?
I think it was no, it was one of our mutuals recently that tweeted about it.
Potato Depresso, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I remember she tweeted about that, and I felt so bad when I read that tweet.
Yeah, that happened to me. Um, I think when I was playing Tomb Raider.
I don't know why, I
Yeah,
find it funny.
Tomb Raider specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I remember my stream milestones by games. Okay.
Fair enough. I
It's
don't
like, you
remember my
know,
moms at all.
like, have you never read like a book or a manga, right? Or more for me, like for books, where like you open the book and you remember exactly where you were when you read this for the first time.
Nope.
Wow. Okay, never mind.
And again, I'm just an idiot. So that might be it.
Because I don't know. Maybe it's a me thing. I definitely pick up books and like reread them after a while, and I can remember exactly where I was when I read that passage for the first time, and I was like, oh, dear, it's been such a long time.
People.
Maybe it's just me. I fell down the hole, by the way.
I can tell, because you're not with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of challenges that comes with streaming. There's a lot of great things that comes with streaming, and it's really finding a balance with yourself because yeah, like for me, it took me about 6 months to like really, not to say not bother about the numbers, but like I became comfortable with where I am, and you really just have to experiment and try out, or if you ever want to start streaming. Oh yes, please, that would be nice.
Yeah, it's just the sad truth about numbers is that it's gonna affect every streamer whether they like it or not.
Cause
Like,
validation.
yeah, I guess it is that because every single like smaller streamer that I've spoken to who asked me like, you know, um about like channel growth and especially hitting that elusive like affiliate milestone, right?
Oh yeah.
Of how to reach there because the hardest as we all know the hardest
Oh. But yes, we were
My
talking
gosh.
about the elusive affiliate dream.
Ah, yes. Yeah. Ah.
I mean,
Thank you, Brownie, for the 10 bits. He said be better.
Brownie's such a dick today, huh? Brownie's unhinged.
Uh, but yes, back to the podcast. Now that my internet has gotten died like for the second time, this might not be the last time. We're gonna be podcasting for like 3 hours, and all my stream VODs are gonna be 30-minute intervals before my Unify decides to reset at the 30-minute mark for each one of them. Calling it.
This is why you should come over to my chat. Haha.
Yeah, you probably should.
I'm gonna steal net viewers.
Go, 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 go. But yeah, the affiliate struggle, right?
Yeah.
And the challenge of like retaining viewers early on. I mean, it could be argued that inherently, right, because affiliate is set out to be such a kind of like low achievable bar, and you're not like officially a streamer until you have until you're affiliate, right? This like perception, right, that exists as an unwritten sort of thing lah, right, basically. Because like a huge way that people interact with streamers are through channel points, and when you don't have that, then I mean the only way you can get that is through affiliate, so it's like a cycle. You get it.
Mm-hmm.
It could be argued that like this cycle of affiliate is kind of what sets a lot of people on the numbers driven path, whether they like it or not. Because like it is a struggle to hit that, especially the average 3 viewers metric for affiliate early on. And a lot of people have asked me like how that worked out for me. And the only, I mean, besides the whole like playing horror games and playing to my strengths, and I could always say all of that, right? Like, play to your strengths, do things that enhance who you are. You don't necessarily have to play games that sorry, Brownie said I can't take you seriously with that anime girl grinding on top of your head. Sorry, what was he saying?
The affiliate dream and grinding for those numbers.
Yeah. So as much as I can say all of those things, and you can refine your own content and all of that, I think the only way to feasibly do it is by finding friends on Twitch and getting them to hang out on your channel or lurk for like 30 days. Just so you can hit that number.
Oh yeah.
Because that is what worked for me as well. Like, when I first started streaming, I started streaming like a few months after Haru. We were both working together at that point, so we were both supporting each other's like streaming growth. And she played a huge role in me hitting affiliate as fast as I did. Just from like raids and collabing with her and doing all of that, like, and me putting in the effort to stream regularly, and all that added to added up to that final goal of hitting affiliate.
Did you ever do like an affiliate push kind of stream?
No.
I don't think that's a thing, right? It's only partners that do that.
Oh no, people do affiliate push streams.
I've not noticed that at all.
Got.
But yeah, I mean, that was actually something I completely forgot to bring up. Is the fact that the one thing I would definitely recommend, like if you really want to push for stream for the numbers, is to actually meet people. But you have to be genuine with it, because a lot of people will know when you're fake. I think because some of especially like if you're talking to other affiliate streamers, they can kind of tell who's really there to be their friends and who isn't. So, I mean, as immoral as it is, you really just have to be friends with other streamers, and you guys have to sort of grow with each other. Like, I help you, you help me kind of situation.
Yeah, and to bring it back full circle to the whole finding out like chat rules and overcoming like experimenting with that until I found like a comfortable spot, right? I generally couldn't have done that without having streamer friends as well, because it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
inherently something that nobody's gonna get unless they're a streamer themselves. Like, nobody's gonna understand why it's so annoying that somebody's coming into your chat and commenting on your view count unless they're a streamer themselves and know what it feels like, and the struggle of like trying to get that view count up and the growth challenges and all that. I think it's just, yeah, it's things that if you're just a viewer is not
You won't
gonna be
understand.
something. Yeah, I mean, you can probably understand it in theory, but it's different from having it have it happen to you. Yeah.
Mm, true. But yeah, I mean, just really meet new people if you ever want to go into streaming, because then you can also learn what are the things that they've done and see what works and what isn't. Yeah, I was about to pick that. So speaking of streamer friends, would you say that the market is too concentrated now specifically to break into streaming? Because my follow-up question would be, what if we were to compare it back during the pandemic days? But I think, what are your thoughts about it now? I think we can start with that.
Honestly, I feel like even when things were like at its peak with the pandemic, right? And there was like probably the biggest amount of competition during the pandemic as well, because there were just so many people who were starting streaming back then. Even with that, like, I've always had the frame of mind that it's not concentrated in Malaysia at all. Or in fact, in this region, is not concentrated at all. And in fact, even if you want to start streaming tomorrow or like whenever, like, it's gonna be a good time in this region, because this region is still growing a lot with Twitch. I don't think like I don't think concentration is an issue at all. Especially, right, when you compare it to like trying to start streaming in the States, for example. Maybe then there could be an argument of it being like too concentrated, because generally like the streamer market there is insanely huge and insanely like populated, right? And so mature by this point, right? But in Malaysia and Southeast Asia, it's not at all. Not in my opinion, at least. I feel like there's so much room for growth and so much room for new streamers to come about if they want to. I mean, like, case in point, so. Like we had not just us, but we have a lot of mutual friends who started streaming only during the pandemic, who their channels have grown a lot since they started streaming, and they only started streaming, yeah, like maximum a year plus ago.
Yeah, because I was about to say the same thing. The fact that I don't think it's as concentrated. Like, even if you go, let's say, on the Malaysia tags of Twitch, you will see a bunch of streamers. But if you look at
the fact that you can reach the end of the page.
Yeah, the fact that you can go to the end of the page.
Yeah.
Oh, someone's with you. Is that you shooting someone, or?
It's someone shooting me, but I'm good.
Where's the guy? Found him. But yeah, it's the fact that you can go to the end of the page and find basically all the streamers.
Yeah.
Compared to like if you were to put USA, which I don't think they do. I don't think
they even
US
tag it anymore because it's redundant.
Yeah, it really is. It just shows
But
that
yeah,
there
in the
is
hypothetical scenario where people tag USA, right?
yeah. That
You would
you
not
will
be
not.
able to reach the end.
You will be scrolling till the day that you die without even refreshing the page, because the page only updates when you refresh, with like new streams and people ending their streams. Nope, someone got revived.
Wanna
But-
get them?
Yeah, I was thinking of that. But yeah, I think if anything, it's now a better time to go into streaming as a Malaysian or even as a Southeast Asian streamer. Like if it's something that you're really interested in, definitely get into it now. Down to friend. Right above him.
Oh god. I got good.
Yeah, someone behind.
I got killed by Noob Master.
Oh, come on. And then they're getting third party.
Okay, anywho.
Yeah, now it's just a really good time because there is a very low entry, I would say. You don't have to worry so much about anything.
Yeah, and
You
I
don't-
think
Mm.
maybe when people are concerned about how concentrated it is, they are actually maybe what they're really trying to say is that it just feels concentrated because growth is slow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, rather than it actually being concentrated, which I really feel that it's not concentrated. But just that, yeah, maybe it's a combination of multiple factors. It could be that audience wise we aren't as big, so there's less chance of being discovered because audience size is smaller, which is true. But also on top of that, maybe it's just inherently like other issues of um other issues with maybe your personal stream of what challenges does that streamer personally have with retaining their audience, for example. Like maybe it feels concentrated, maybe it feels there's a lot of competition, but maybe it's because that your stream is struggling on other fronts as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a pure like statistical way of viewing it.
Also, I just want to chip in real quick. We are specifically talking about Twitch. We are not talking about Facebook because Facebook
Oh yeah,
streaming for
cesspool
it's
down with Meta. I'll say it. They have a terrible backend system.
I wouldn't know. Actually, no, I would know. It's horrible, but yeah. But yeah, for those who don't know, when it comes to streaming in Southeast Asia, Facebook is the dominant platform. So we're not gonna talk about that. No, Facebook it's a whole separate issue on itself. We're just specifically talking about Twitch Malaysia and Twitch Southeast Asian streamers. There's also the fact that you first.
Oh no, you go ahead.
So, you know, even though now feels like such a good time to go into streaming because in actual fact, it's a very low entry right now because there's not that many people, or it's not as many people as everyone would think. I need help.
Where
I'm
are
fine.
you?
I'm fine, never mind. A lot of people will grow, so yeah. Wait, let me rephrase. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the number of streamers. Even though it feels like there is a lot of streamers currently on Twitch for Southeast Asia, and yeah, getting shot from behind as well. Yeah, definitely from behind.
There's also one more person somewhere. There you go.
Nice.
Okay, now I can do my segue. Jesus Christ, I was trying so hard to do that earlier. Oh, I'm already full energy, full shields. So yeah, we were talking about streamers in Southeast Asia and the fact that it's actually a low entry currently. It's really not as high as what people make it out to be. People grow differently on Twitch. You know, some people will grow a lot more faster than the others. And a lot of people will say that, you know, it's because of luck. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you believe that streaming growth is from luck?
Sorry, when you said that,
Mm-hmm.
this is my ADHD brain like firing off, right?
Oh no.
But you were like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you believe in magic in a young girl's heart?
Why?
To which I believe in magic on a 10-10 scale. Thank you very much.
That's not the question. My
Anyway,
God,
I'm
man. The fact that it's
Crying.
taking you out so... Oh my God, you're crying. Oh my God, you actually are. Why did that take you
I'm a
out so
comedian.
hard? Why did
I'm a
that out of
comedian.
everything what got your attention? Hope I'll wrap it, by the way.
Sorry, what was your question?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much would you say streaming is luck?
Huh. I mean, depends on your definition of luck. Not to be a mad pat about it, but it depends on your definition of luck.
No, be a mad pat, go ahead.
A nat pat, if you will.
Not a mad pat?
A nat pat.
But yeah, let's continue. Sorry.
But yeah, I do think there is such thing as being there at the right place at the right time. I mean, we see it happen like every other month, right? With friends who suddenly catch on a certain trend because they're playing a certain game or they get a certain rate from or they're doing a certain series, right?
Mm-hmm.
But obviously it doesn't last forever because I mean, we touched on this briefly in the last episode, but there's no sustained channel growth if you play one thing for the rest of your career because you know people only watch you when you play that game then, and you're not really building your personality or your appeal in any other genres, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do see that luck is a part of it, but I also do think that more so than luck, it's about what keeps the audience there, right? Which comes down to who you are as a person, who you are as an entertainer, and that is not luck. IMO.
Definitely.
Like I've definitely experienced periods of luck as a streamer, don't get me wrong. I've had series that popped off without me even like knowing why sometimes. Like a great example is my Power Wash series, right? Like I've played the game for like 50 plus hours. And I've been playing it since like maybe since half a year ago, with back when it was still in beta.
Oh, really?
Like I've been playing it for a really, really long time, yeah. And it has become like a weird, like ongoing series on the channel and kind of like a channel meme where like, oh, let's power wash and like talk about deep stuff. And I would consider that pretty lucky because it was just a random game that I wanted to try. In fact, I was trying to replace House Flipper because I was trying to find a chill game to play. And I decided to try Power Wash Simulator and it popped off. And I met a lot of cool people while playing Power Wash, and I kind of became known for a while as the Power Wash player. Like people were introducing me to their chats. Like if I rated them or if they rated me, they were introducing me as the person who plays Power Wash Simulator, which is so strange. I couldn't choose a better game to be linked to, by the way.
Out of all the games you've played, Power Wash was it?
Yeah, I mean I'm very happy with Power Wash.
You do
And
play.
I'm still
Sorry, I just want to
I
say
love it.
you do play it like basically at the end of every stream, so you know it makes sense.
Yeah, like I think for a while there it was almost at the end of every stream because I was playing really stressful horror games and then I would end the session with Power Wash just to like
Mm.
lower my heart rate. But yeah, I would consider that a stroke of luck that I personally went through. Um, but I don't think that luck is the reason why my channel has grown the way that it has.
Yeah.
I think I definitely capitalized on the luck when it happens to me. But also, I don't know, maybe people find other reasons to stick around. I mean,
I feel
I've
like
definitely put in
I've-
the effort to give people reasons to stick around, and
Yeah,
it's
that's
worked out.
true. That is true. For me, I would say it's like I mean I agree with what you said. There is a hint of luck. Everyone will need to know that's the truth. It's just what you do with that luck because even with big streamers, they will say the same thing. The fact that streaming, there will be that one, not even streaming, sorry, content creation. I thought chickens would come out of that.
No.
Even with content creation, there'll be that one video that will just blow up and you don't know why. And it's just a matter of really capitalizing on that moment. Because if you don't, then you're probably not gonna get a better chance at growing if that's your main focus. People there. So did you not take up the DMR just now?
Oh, I missed it. It got lost in the storm.
It was outside the storm. Oh, that's a sniper.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
No, I was just saying my opinion about luck versus skill for streaming. Because yeah, I mean there will definitely be people who you think they got lucky, but really they actually capitalized on what that lucky moment that they had. Everyone has that one lucky moment. It's just a matter of how well you capitalize on that moment. Even Brownie has something to say about it. He says 50-50 in my opinion. It takes a ton of work and dedication, but there's also so many people who stream every day and never grow. That's true.
I want to bring up something else Brownie has said as well. He said, well, the thing is, though, your ability to talk and lay out your thoughts during the Power Wash time is a big plus. Talking about the day, talking about things that happened that week, things that happened during the previous game, making personal connections with the viewers is a big thing you bring to Power Wash. Then there's the types of viewers in this region, IMO, which definitely suit a game like Power Wash. And then he says, the typical viewer in Western regions is much more different than Eastern regions, especially compared to the States. They usually flock towards more skilled players who can teach them something about certain games or just crackpot or personality streamers. Whereas in Asia, there are so many more music and arts related streamers and more chill times, non-competitive types. Basically, more personal connection streamers in the East. Which is a cool observation. And actually, like, it's making me think of my cousin, weirdly. Because my cousin also streams on Twitch. When he was here back in Malaysia, he's primarily based in Australia. But when he was back in Malaysia, we did like a bunch of didnt mall exploration videos
Yes, I remember
on his channel. And we were talking about like our different experiences with streaming and like what strategies he employs versus like what kind of streams I run. And I think that's really true, and something I didn't realize until now is that the viewers, even between Malaysia and Australia, which you could even consider we are like pretty close by, but Australia is way more of that Western type, I suppose. Because he was telling me that for him, what draws people to his streams, and he does primarily like GTA role-playing streams, is having really consistent like personalities, and then bringing it back, so people like will come to his channel to watch him roleplay as those personalities specifically, so he becomes known for that. Which is, yeah, totally different from how it would work here. I'm not entirely sure if it would work here, actually.
I've not seen GTA RP in Malaysia or Southeast
I mean,
Asia
not
region.
necessarily like GTA RP, but just like having that one steady, like, kind of like a gag or a bit that you're constantly running, you know?
Yeah.
Because that's definitely
okay,
like
yeah.
what's drawing people to his channel, right? Having that like constant gag or personality that you're pushing, right? Or basically like playing a character. And I don't think I've seen that here, now that I'm thinking about it. But also about the power wash thing, I think that's a really sweet observation, Brownie. And I think it definitely like adds to... Wait, I'm dying.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that, don't die.
Also, there was someone falling behind me, just saying. Yeah, that might be him.
Oh no, they're knocked as well, which means we have 2 angry teammates to deal with.
And I have 0 bullets.
Anywho, I think that definitely comes back to the point that we had about you know, when you do experience these points of luck, how do you capitalize on it?
I'm surprised you managed to complete that sentence while killing someone.
Haha. This is my inherent like killer's instinct.
And that has grown.
My killer's instinct.
She has grown stronger.
Okay, I'm gonna hide and heal somewhere now. But
Yeah, go
yes, okay, now that I'm done killing someone and you made that comment, I can't remember what I was gonna say. Oh yes, so I mean, it comes back to the whole idea of how do you capitalize on that luck, right? Because now that I'm thinking about, you know, my experience with power wash in greater detail, it was more like, rather than luck, it was more like I accidentally stumbled upon something that really worked for me. And you know, the only way to like really quote unquote capitalize on that is to understand why it worked for me and emphasize those parts in not just Power Wash but all my streams moving forward.
Yeah.
And I guess it goes back to the whole thing about playing to your strengths and understanding your strengths, I think, as a first point. Because I generally don't believe in this whole idea of like playing something just because it's trendy. Instead, you should play something that, or you should do content that like really brings out the best in you. And I think the only way to properly, consistently grow as a streamer is by having a firm understanding of what works for you and what enhances the best of you. Like, I follow some streamers in the States who have, like, they're partner streamers, right? they have a really solid understanding of who they are, what content works best for them, and um, the like style of community that they want,
Mm-hmm.
and how their community interacts with them. They have such a firm grasp of that, that their channels like just keep growing because they know like what works for them, and they constantly do things that emphasize that. And if there's any sort of like quote unquote key to success, I think that's probably it.
I was about to
Rather
make a
than like
joke.
trying to mold yourself into like what do you think people would like, it's more like finding what about you that people already like, and then tuning that up, you know. I do think there is like a certain measure of like tuning yourself, you know, as an entertainer. Like there are parts of me that I don't like necessarily like show on stream that much. Yeah, because I just know that it's not like, you know, not my most entertaining like facets, you know. Not to say I'm
Yeah.
being untrue to myself, but you know, I think everybody who is like intent on becoming an entertainer like eventually develops a sort of like entertainer mode that they go into when they start streaming, or when they start like posting or presenting or doing content, they like slip into that mode. And I think it's similar to that, of like finding what works for you.
You know what's the funny thing? I noticed that I do that, but I just never know like what the difference is between like streamers Tyra and Darren. It's just very like I can tell that there's something different, but I just can't pinpoint what they are. Which I think is a good thing. Like I'm still me. I'm still who I am in real life. Just a more slightly altered version, like a variant. If that makes sense.
Uses, so pretty much be yourself and focus on what you do best at for streaming.
Yes.
Yeah. TLDR, yeah. Which I think is, yeah, easier said than done. For sure. I think it's a
Yeah.
self-awareness exercise. Maybe. Self-reflection exercise.
Yeah. I see people. Also, Brownie in my chat says also where she picked up no shot.
Where from that streamer, from that group of streamers. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, because that group of streamers like say no shot all the time. So
That
that's
makes
where
sense
no
now.
shot comes from.
No, my notes went missing. There you are. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to consider, but really just have to make sure that you know yourself and what you want with streaming.
I mean, let
Like
me...
to compress everything that we've mentioned for the past, I don't know, half an hour about this topic. Just be yourself, really. As cliche and as cheesy as that advice is, really just have to be yourself. Someone's reviving.
Yeah. Also, would you like me to throw a wrench into that and ask you a question?
What's that?
So when we first met,
Mm-hmm.
one of the first things I told you, or one of the first things I asked you, I think, was why don't you tag your stream as auditory ASMR?
Because it's not.
Because you have the, like, naturally you have the voice for it. And it's not that you have to try to...
Ooh, scrap it. There's a guy right behind you. I don't think he knows where you are. Behind.
Ooh,
Nice.
okay. Where are you?
And a partner streamers. I'm right here.
Oh!
Brownie said net and a partner streamers. Shake my
Wow.
hand. But yeah, to answer your question, I
No,
Personally-
wait. Like, why... Yeah, I mean,
I just don't find myself to be an ASMR kind of person, I guess.
but the thing is, right, if we're talking about playing to your strengths, and you know, especially when it's something that you don't have to inherently change about yourself because it's already part of your personality as a streamer, right? It's not like you're actively trying to lower your voice. It's as if I were to start doing ASMR streams, which I could do, but it would be an active like effort on my part because I'm loud. I'm
True.
super loud by default, but you are not. Like, you wouldn't
That
have
is
to
also
change
true.
anything about yourself except put the tag on your stream. Would you ever consider it as a growth tactic?
So that's okay. So this goes back to branding. I don't think I don't think I feel comfortable being branded as an ASMR streamer. Not that it's a bad thing. It's just something that I don't really see myself doing much. Did you what did
Somebody
you do?
one-shot me!
Yep, the friends are here. But yeah, no, I just don't see myself as an ASMR streamer to begin with. That's why. Ah, yes, I hear the gunshots.
If I'm not mistaken, aren't there two tags though? I mean, there used to be two tags, and back when tagging on Twitch was not like free and easy breezy open the way that it is now.
Yeah.
But back then I believe there were two. One was auditory ASMR, which was like the people with ASMR like voices, and then there was an actual ASMR tag for people who were doing actual ASMR content.
That's not what I wanted.
So yeah, you could have become an auditory ASMR streamer for sure.
Oh, what the?
But yeah, again, it not to bother you too much about it.
No, no, no.
I'm
I
just
mean,
pointing
it
it
makes
out as a
you do bring up
you
a
know.
good point. It's just again, I think this falls back to comfortability. Like, how comfortable are you being associated with that sort of branding?
True.
Because for me, I would say my branding is just the fact that I am just a very chill person. Like, you come here to hang out, do your own work. You don't have to be in chat. If you need someone to talk to, then you can be in chat. Just do whatever you want it is that you want to do. I don't want people to come in and expect like ASMR type of content. I think that's the main reason why I have not done that. But it's a good experiment, I guess. We'll see.
I think it does bring up a good perspective to this like luck / skill thing as well. Which is sometimes you get lucky, but it's about things that you don't really want to emphasize, right?
Oh yeah.
Like sometimes you might get lucky yeah, because of like a game that you're playing, or maybe the way that you sound or the way that you look, but those are not things that you want to emphasize in the long term. And I think that's also valid. Like, as much as I say play to your strengths, but I feel like on an equal level of importance is, you know, these are your strengths, but also what are you comfortable with, right? Like what?
Yeah.
Because I do feel that like inherently, if you wanna become better and more comfortable as like an entertainer, you do have to put comfort first. And when you're comfortable with something and it brings you joy, then it really brings out the best in you. And sometimes there is a really nice overlap when the thing you get lucky for is also the thing that brings you joy and emphasizes the best in you. And I think that's luck, I guess. That's love.
Yeah, definitely. That's like the best kind of luck you can
Yeah.
get. Speaking of your being comfortable with what you do on stream, I think before we go into the next topic, which is actually somewhat similar, I do want to bring up this one thing, which is telling chat no when you don't want to do something. Just to briefly talk about it, because I do think it's something we should highlight regardless. Oh, I see you have a slight issue that I am not helping.
I'm dead.
Yeah, I can tell.
I mean, I'm down.
I can't aim. You know, I was just it was just mainly the fact that as a streamer you don't want to do things that you don't feel comfortable with. There will be really weird people because the internet that will say like, oh, do this and I'll donate you like $5.
My God, that's the other thing. That was one of the other examples I had in mind of things that are not technically like breaking any
Toxic.
rules, but like
Yeah.
definitely feels wrong. And if
Oh,
you're
yeah,
new to
definitely.
streaming, it's really difficult to like pinpoint why it feels wrong. Yeah,
So it's
it's
just
so
waiting for
gross though.
powder.
Yeah. Now I'm ready.
Maybe just push it. Okay, there you go. But yeah, so you really have to make sure that you have a healthy relationship with your chat as well. Telling chat like, hey, no, I don't want to do that, or that's not cool. Just to go back to Net's point earlier about chat being not rule breakers, but very weird. Because not only do you have to maintain a healthy relationship with chat, with your community, you also need to maintain a healthy relationship with yourself mentally. And earlier in the stream, earlier in the podcast, we were talking about numbers, and for Ned and I, we feel comfortable with where we are, and not many people will be there when they first start streaming. What would you say were your ways of dealing with numbers?
Numbers? In what sense?
So let's say with the average views, circling back to Twitch affiliates, the average 3 views, how would you deal with that? Or how do you maintain a healthy relationship with the numbers that quote unquote dictate you?
Well, there were two things I think that you brought up that I want to address, right? The first one is the saying no thing, right? Which I think for me was just a matter of getting into the state of mind of the facts are that I'm the one streaming here, and if whatever you're doing is making me uncomfortable, even though I can't exactly pinpoint why it's making me uncomfortable, I have every single right to say no and just boot you out.
True.
And it took a really long time for me to get into that mindset, but I think it was really necessary for me. And especially because I think my boundaries are a lot tighter than most people. And it's honestly like I don't think there's there are very few people in chat who have gotten my boundaries like from the get-go. I have regulars who like pretty much all of them know what it's like to get told off by Nat because yeah, they're just like, I mean, I'm a person just like everybody is, and there are many layers to like what I'm comfortable with, and something I might be comfortable with in a certain scenario, I might not be comfortable with in other scenarios. It's just very like, I'm human.
Yeah.
Also, do you need help?
No, I'm right above you. Hi.
Are you dead? Are you okay?
Someone's above you. Someone's with you. Just saying, like right here. No, I'm fine. So,
Alright.
okay, just to redirect the conversation out for a bit. What happened was I fell down, and I'm pretty sure the person heard me, but he didn't see me. But I fell down right above him, and he was just like looking up, like, where is this person?
Oh,
I was just standing there.
but yeah, like it was just a matter of getting like comfortable with it, I guess, for me. And I I realized that you know, at first I was kind of hesitant about it because I was like, oh no, are my really strict boundaries gonna like turn some people off from stream, and are they gonna leave and never come back? But I realized that like usually the people that make me feel uncomfortable once, if I let them go once, they will most likely be repeat offenders, right? This has
Yeah.
been a consistent pattern for me where I let them off the hook once and they immediately like repeat this again, or they like show red flags in other areas. So like one way or another, my instincts like from the get-go has been accurate about these people. But secondly, a lot of people I tell no, or like I assert my boundaries, a lot of them like respect it and they change and they adapt to suit like what I'm comfortable with, which I really appreciate. And those are the people that have turned out to be like some of the most loyal and like wonderful and positive people in chat. And I guess that's just the facts, you know, like there are like cool people out there and they will respect the streamer for the boundaries that they set as long as you assert them. And that has made me like way more comfortable about saying no, because the people who like are the coolest people to have in chat, right, will be fine with you saying no. It's the people who you don't want to have in chat who will like start causing trouble if, or start fighting back. Some of them literally fight back when I say no to them, and I'm like, okay, bye then.
So
It's
speaking of
so
goodbyes,
much
I'm
better.
taking the skies.
Oh,
Yeah, circle's a bit far. Actually, no,
Oh.
circle's not that far. Still.
okay. I'll take to the skies as well.
I actually, yeah, when when you're saying that, I actually remember it reminded me of someone in my chat, that was very weird at first, but then as I tell him more and more, like, hey, you know, that's not cool, or like I tell him that what you are saying or doing in chat does not make other people feel comfortable. I noticed it for some people, it's just a matter of understanding Twitch culture.
Yeah, and
'Cause-
sometimes I've even noticed like language barriers.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Like the person I had in mind, the person I'm thinking of, I won't say the name obviously because I don't want to, not dox them, but I just don't want to call them out. They've been great actually lately. When they are active in my chat before I did my mini hiatus, they were great. They were lovely people, and I'm glad that we managed to come to a point of he now knows what is right and wrong. Because yeah, like I said, I think it's just a matter of, for some people, it's just a matter of not understanding what the Twitch culture is, because they still see it as like a friend thing. What's that term? Do you remember what that term is?
Parasocial.
Yes. They didn't understand the concept of a parasocial relationship. So that is also something that if anyone wants to start streaming will need to consider. But obviously, you know, if you feel like that person is just off, then don't hope. That's
Also,
really
just to define parasocial relationships, just in case we have people who are listening to this who may not know what it means, I guess it could be as simple as, you know, when people don't understand, when people treat streamers like their personal friends, I think is the simplest way I can explain it. Yeah?
Yep, that's true. No, I'm not. You're not talking to me. Never mind.
I am talking to you. What?
Oh, I thought you said yeah to someone else.
Oh no, I was saying yeah to you.
Ah, okay. Is that you driving? No, no one's driving.
No.
Never mind. I just realized we have not talked about the thing that I first asked, which is about maintaining a healthy relationship with numbers.
Oh yeah, cause the no thing, I just wanted to like talk about
Yeah,
it
no,
because
it's a good point
interesting.
to bring up.
But yeah, going back to the other one then, about numbers, right? About having a healthy relationship with numbers. I don't know actually. Why don't you take a stab at this? I've been answering the questions first.
Yeah, sure.
What about
So
your thoughts on this?
it will definitely take a while. That is something that is going to happen regardless because humans just like validation. That's just a fact. Um, to see your numbers grow and to see that more people are in your chat, more actively and everything, it feels nice because it feels like people want to be with you, and that is something that everyone will crave for regardless. But one of the things you also have to remember is that you are probably not the first streamer that they're watching. They probably have or are watching currently with the same time other streamers, because that is very normal to watch multiple stream at once. So you have to remember that you can't get everyone's attention, and because of that, you should not worry too much on numbers, because yeah, in the end of the day, for example, like what I like in my viewers or my chatters may be different from Nat's.
Yeah.
And the viewers will know that as well. Yeah, the chatters will know that as well. The viewers will know that, okay, maybe this streamer is not my kind of streamer.
There you go across there, by the way.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Sorry, there's still a bit I want to ramble on, which is more practical advice in terms of maintaining someone right above you. More practical advice of maintaining a healthy relationship with numbers. A practical advice I would give, and I think a lot of people do not do this when they first start streaming, but definitely do it now, is hide your number count, especially your view count. Do you hide your view count, Nat?
No.
You don't? You actually don't?
No.
Huh, interesting.
But okay, I have I was aware of that advice.
Concept.
Like yeah, I don't know. I did keep it in mind before.
Okay,
Of
I'm
possibly wanting
curious.
to do it, but it never. Yeah.
Why don't you?
Why don't I? Is I just never had like that unhealthy of a relationship with numbers. Yeah. I mean, it balances out on several aspects for me, right? And I consider myself very lucky for that, which is that my numbers have never been overly terrible, at least like according to my expectations. So I've never felt the need to like hide it. Also, hold on, I just got a raid. Let me say
Alright, no
hi,
worries.
real quick.
You wanna go main menu first?
Ken.
Yeah. Take your time.
Also, I do indeed make IRL streamer friends from Twitch in the past, but it doesn't mean I can expect the same outcome from other streamers as well. Sometimes people do need to keep their boundaries. Agreed. I totally agree with what Brownie said earlier, by the way, that personal friends is the best case scenario of parasocial relationships. Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely made personal friends from Twitch, but yeah, it's not the default setting that people think it is sometimes. But yeah, for today's podcast topic, for those of you who are new here, we're talking about being smaller streamers and the challenges of growing your stream as a smaller streamer. and all those related topics, which we will continue soon when Stara is back from the toilet. Is a smaller streamer smaller in size than normal people? No.
Yes,
No.
I can confirm. Ned is small.
No.
The funny thing is, technically, you are a bigger streamer than I am. If you're looking at numbers.
No, this is like a pain point for me. People say I have small person energy, even though I'm 170 cm. I'm tall, okay? I'm 5 feet 6 and a
Exactly
half.
like that.
Why are you so defensive? This is exactly why chat says you have small energy. Shall we continue the podcast?
Holy shit.
Let's continue the podcast.
Brownie just came to my chat and said, "See, hit the nerve." Headshot, baby.
But we were talking about the fact that you don't hide your numbers. Which, okay, Brownie actually said something earlier. Where did it go? She treats it more as a statistic than a fear factor. Would you agree on that?
I think so. Yeah. Cause I've mentioned this on stream before. And I was just sorry, my brain was like lagging a bit. I was trying to think if I still feel the same way, and I don't think the way that I think about it has changed. Maybe it's wavered like up and down over time, but I pretty much feel the same way about it that I did last time, which is that the whole view count thing has always been very much about the statistic for me. It initially, when I was like experimenting with games and styles of streaming and all of those like little things, it was actually the view count that helped me determine what should stay and what should go. And I was watching for you know, even down to things like how I was responding to raids and what kind of response would get a better retention versus others, and then just like in general, like what kinds of games did better than others, or even sometimes, you know, when would viewers jump when I'm playing the same game, you know, like I noticed that viewers would jump when I'm reaching a certain point in the story, yeah, that kind of thing. I just kind of observed it as a general stat, and then kind of like drew conclusions from there, and I used it as the primary way to like determine stream improvements. So rather than it, I guess it's because I didn't assign worth to it that it didn't bother me, you know. It's more like, okay, if stream views are low today, why is it low? What is not working today? And then figuring out what's not working and then tweaking from there and moving on. And I guess it was kind of, I'm not sure if luck is what I can call it. But when I tweak things, and I could see like ups and downs in improvement, like according to what I tweaked. So it was I don't know if that's luck or just like me having a good understanding of myself and my content, maybe. But yeah, it was a valuable statistic for me, like even now actually. Not to say that I never had like an unhealthy relationship with numbers, Like, I definitely have fallen down the rabbit hole of like getting obsessed with stream performance on a certain day versus others, but usually when that happens, it's kind of an indicator to me about something larger, or at least that's what I've noticed about myself. Where if the moment I'm like stream views are really starting to get to me, it's usually some indication that something else is wrong. Like, I think the last time that it really bothered me, I was going through something else entirely. Like, I was really stressed about just stream not quote unquote performing or not feeling as good as I was about streaming, but that was because I was stressed. Like, in my life in general, I was stressed. And me becoming like obsessed with numbers and being unsatisfied with that was more like a after effect.
Also, I wanted to say, you are a bigger nerd of marketing than I am. Because, okay, now that you mentioned how you view your, how you view numbers in your streams, it actually makes sense to me. Maybe not so with chat, because I think it might be a marketing thing. The fact that I can understand what you are trying to say with it. Don't use the
No,
chug
I'm restoring health.
There's food everywhere. There's a medkit right there.
I don't wanna.
Like a little child. I don't wanna.
I don't like it. Have you watched that Chris Evans interview?
Yes, I know
I
what you
don't like
mean.
it.
Oh my god. That's actually hilarious. I miss Chris. I miss that one. I need to watch that again. Sorry, I got distracted. I want the sniper.
Also,
I want
yeah,
to.
said, I guess you could say they got gaslighted. But
Haha.
nice one.
Oh, someone is still around.
But yeah, you were in the middle of something?
No, I was just saying that.
Oh, about the
I
marketing
agree.
stats.
Yeah, like I agree. Like now that you mentioned, you know what, how you view streaming numbers, I agree with what you said, and I don't know if there's people around here somewhere. I don't know if a lot of people would understand what you are saying. Yeah, oh, I found him.
Is it?
Found him. There is one more person like right below here just now.
Brownie says, also streamer, I have a question. How would you say you overcame that obsession with the numbers meta? Is there a numbers meta?
Kind of.
I mean, for me, because I always viewed it as like a statistic, right? Rather than like and something I assigned my worth to. Oh, I fell into the water.
Nice.
Yeah, because I always viewed it as a statistic, it kind of worked both ways for me, right? Of course, there was joy associated with getting like really high numbers all of a sudden, and there's sadness associated with getting like low numbers all of a sudden, right? But both of them come back to the same kind of thought, right? You know, which is that if there is a sudden spike in growth, there is a reason for it. The same way, if there is a sudden drop in growth, there is a reason for it.
Yeah, mine would be the lack of streams. Where is this bugger? This banana man.
But yeah, it kind of, I guess, kind of acted as a way to center myself. Because even when streams were doing really well, I'm always kind of able to pinpoint, oh, this is the reason why it's doing really well. It's because this combination of things is happening right now. You know, where I'm playing the perfect game at the perfect time, in the perfect way, right? And I also understand that this is not gonna last forever, because eventually I will finish the game. and I will move on, and other things will happen. But it's good to know that, you know, you learn something from every experience. There's also been experiences where, like, I play a game that I love that just doesn't do well, where I can kind of pinpoint why it does not. Like Red Dead Redemption did not do well, like from a numbers standpoint, but I loved it and I kept playing it because I did not care. But I also know that it didn't do well because the community for the game on Twitch was much less than I expected. Like, there's a lot of people playing it for like roleplay content, but most of them are in the States. And the hype surrounding the game, like for its story and stuff, is much less in this region for some reason. Versus there were a lot of other games that were way more hyped in this region. Like, if you guys if you guys like horror games and you wanna see like if you wanna try a game that will be a surefire hit in this region, play anything from Resident Evil. It does really good. No joke. But of course, keeping in mind that like picking the right game is not the win-all be-all formula, but I do gotta say, like, when I compare my performance across the board, Resident Evil is super up there just from the strength of the game.
Okay. We are actually close to finishing. We only have a question or a topic left.
Well,
if any,
I want to hear your answer to the question of like the numbers meta. How do you feel about it?
I hate it. Strongly hate it.
So did you actually do the thing where you hide your view count and stuff? Did it help?
I still do. I still do. Yeah. The
Does it
thing is,
help?
I would, kind of, because it made me look at chat more than the statistics, because I do have the Twitch stats on, mainly because I want to see how long I've been streaming. I know in OBS it says that at the bottom, but it's just a lot easier to see it on Twitch stats because it's just like there. It's a number that it's constantly moving, so it catches my attention. Because the thing about me is that I do look at, whenever something moves, I will like shift my focus quickly to the item. So for me, that's the main reason why I hide my view count. Because if that number moves, for some reason my head will just turn to that number and see like, what is it going up or is it going down? Does that explain? I wanted to take it.
Is it stressful for you when you see it go up or down?
Nope. It feels a little sad if it goes down, because, you know, I feel like, oh, I'm not entertaining enough. But that's really at most what I feel. Like, if it goes up, then, you know, I feel happy that I'm entertaining people and that people are actively watching. Because I know view counts sometimes do not count lurks. So yeah.
Sorry, view counts sometimes don't what?
Don't count lurkers.
Oh yeah. They used to be a lot more strict about that, which is something I definitely took into account because there were so many requirements for being like successfully lurking on the channel, right? Where you had to like keep it to like 1% lah, don't know what, this that lah.
Mute the tab and not the stream.
Yeah. But it's way easier now, which is good.
True.
Donut says, I didn't know streamers' moods can get influenced so heavily by the fluctuating view count, though never thought of it that way. Yeah, and it can even be quite demoralizing when like you get a big raid, but you're not able to retain like, most of the people who come in from that raid. Which is another thing I was thankfully able to like detach myself from almost immediately. Because the fact is, like, for a successful raid to happen, it takes a lot of aspects need to line up. Yeah, pretty much a lot of aspects have to line up. Like sometimes people, like a bigger channel might raid you, but their user or their audience like doesn't align with your kind of content. That could be one of the reasons why they don't stick, or maybe the game you're playing is not their kind of game, or sometimes they're just sleepy, you know. Like all these are super valid and normal reasons. And the benefit of seeing the numbers objectively was also kind of understanding that, like, oh yeah, like this happens, and it can happen for a multitude of reasons, and sometimes you get a really good rate where like everybody, like the audience really gels with yours and you get a high retention from that rate. But I think oftentimes this doesn't happen because, I mean, yeah, it's not on anybody's like shoulders. It's hard for the streamer who's rating you to know like whether the audience is gonna jive with yours, especially if like it's the first time here. Or sometimes maybe the streamer like enjoys your content but their audience doesn't. Like it's a lot of factors, seriously. And yeah.
Right,
But
trying to
it
line
can
up
get
my
quite
fingers.
like demoralizing for sure.
I think there is
Especially
no
if
good
like you're
opinion
new to
from that.
streaming and there's maybe an expectation of like, oh, I got so many followers, or like a high view count from that raid last time, but why didn't they come back for the next stream? But that is 100% normal. It's not to say that you can't do anything to improve retention, but even now when I'm quite confident about my ability to retain audiences, right? There are just like so many factors at play. Also, hi Zell! What do we talk? What do talking? We are talking about being a small streamer on today's episode of the Fortcast, and our challenges with growth and our advice and all of that. Hold on.
Yeah, we're currently talking about.
I'm gonna. You continue. I'm gonna go and close the door.
Yeah, sure. We're currently talking about, or we were talking about, maintaining a healthy relationship with numbers, in terms of followers, in terms of views, in terms of your growth, those kind of things. So if you either from Nights or mine, if you guys have any questions regarding about that or anything in general about what we discussed earlier today, be more than happy. Drop your questions or comments, and we will be sure to read it on stream and discuss about it. But yeah, we were talking about how Nat doesn't hide her view count, but I do. Do you guys hide your view counts when you guys stream? For those who are streamers in the chat.
Q says, I have another problem. I have the tendency to see who is currently watching the stream. Not only on my stream, but on other channels as well. Oh, like the user list.
I actually feel that.
Really? You guys look at the user list?
I used to. I actually stopped, but I used to.
Oh my gosh. Zell says... Oh, Zell hides it all. So Zell is Team Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a user list? Hey, Pangkang King, hi!
That's a user list.
Yeah, you can... I didn't know you could see it on other people's channels. I thought it was just like streamers can see their own channel.
No, you can see other people's channels,
damn.
view list. Yeah, I was about to say that. Oh my god. I need a sip actually.
You know,
what
I
else
don't think there's an inherent problem with that, but I do think it becomes a problem if you start to have an unhealthy relationship with it. Like, start thinking about why, you know, why this person is like not here today, or why they stopped coming, and like getting obsessed with that frame of thought, then it becomes really unhealthy, and I probably would suggest you stop looking at it then.
True.
But you know, if it's for me, I mean, if I looked at user lists, which I don't, because I feel like user list is where I draw the line as well. Like, I'm able to have a detached relationship with numbers because I don't know the names that are associated with it. If I started to like get obsessed over who is watching the stream at any given time, and like my analysis goes as far as to like think about individual people and what like catering, like my mind would immediately jump to like catering to those people, you know, and making sure that they drop by again, you know, which is not the way that I want to think about streaming ever. So yeah, user list is probably where I draw the line. Like with numbers, I'm still able to like detach in for the most part because it's just a number. For me, it's just a number. And it's easy when that number doesn't have like a face and a name attached to it, you know? It's just a number.
Come over.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, so your solution to this problem is to just hide everything, Sarah?
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of people around.
But to be fair, I don't know why Twitch decided to put user list. Like, what's the purpose? I mean...
Good question.
Good question. I guess they put it there as a stat. I mean, even with, like, the view count, it can be very beneficial, I believe, if you have a healthy relationship with it. Because that's what it's meant to be there for. Just like how you would monitor... And I think maybe it's my marketing training, right? But this is exactly how you would monitor performance for like a client.
Yeah.
Like this
that's
is like watching their followers like go up and down, or like why there's a sudden increase this month versus last month, what we could do to potentially improve. Like maybe that frame of thought is like super ingrained in me. That's why like I'm able to view my own numbers that way as well. But yeah, I'm actually I find the stats quite useful, but only if you use it as intended, like a stat, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing I wanted to... That's the thing that I said, like, it feels like such a marketing thing. The fact that you are viewing yourself as a client, basically. And that you're... Like, okay, how do I say this that would make sense? That the Twitch page, Natalie Tay _ is your client. And that you as a agency is trying to figure out how to increase the numbers in a healthy way.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. That's basically
next level.
There's a campfire here, by the way. Yeah, that's what I meant basically.
I'm using some bandages.
Okay. But yeah, that's what I meant basically when I said that you're a bigger marketing nerd than I am.
I mean, I suppose it also helps that like I don't really have like I mean, before this I never really had like so-called personal projects. Even with the Magic Rain, which is very like close to my heart, is a third-party entity that I watch from a marketing perspective. So it was easy to like shift that way of thinking over to the channel as well. I don't know. It could also just be like, I don't know. Am I secure with myself that... Because I don't feel that streaming is 100% of what makes... It doesn't make up 100% of myself, you know? And I am secure in my worth in other ways other than Twitch. So when I stream on Twitch, it's also kind of like me playing around with a different side of myself. if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense to me.
Because you know, worst case scenario, like streaming doesn't work out, and let's say streaming is like 10% of who I am, I'd still have like 90%. I'm locked and loaded. I'm good. You know.
Yeah. There are slip barrels here you can break.
Which I think is the way that
There's a
I think it's
slip
why
barrel right
people.
inside.
But I need to like heal so much health. Okay, I'm coming. But yeah, I think this is what people mean when they say shit, I forgot what I wanted to say. No.
What were we talking about before?
It's something that people always say. Something along the lines of how yes, like about their mindset towards streaming, right? And how it's really unhealthy when you start to place emphasis on Twitch to the point where it's like, if it doesn't work out, my entire like career, my life, and everything is gone. And then how more people are shifting towards the mindset of like, if Twitch works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't, because that's the reality of it.
True.
And I guess it's along that similar vein of thinking. Of trying to assign like less power to Twitch, I suppose.
That is actually a whole different conversation that I'm actually interested in. Like,
is it a whole different conversation?
It's something that we can definitely go in depth, which is media consumption. The broad topic will be media consumption. I don't know, maybe in the future. Also, I just took a bunch of damage for no reason.
Wait. Now I'm the team healer.
Oh my god, you have that fucking gun again.
I bought it.
Of course you did. I feel like I'm missing one important thing about numbers.
In the meantime, maybe I can bring up a question that Q had. A question just popped into my mind. Do you think turning on follower-only chat is necessary for newbie streamers?
Ah, yes, that's
Ooh.
a good question.
That's an interesting one. I mean, maybe we'll have different answers to it. What is yours?
I find it. How do I actually find it? I'm very neutral to it, but if I had to pick a stance, I would say I'm against it.
Turning it on, or?
Yeah, it's best not to turn it on. The reason for that is because when people drop in and when the chatters or the viewers genuinely want to make a connection with the streamer, like have a parasocial relationship with the streamer.
The close closing, by the way.
Yeah, I know. They don't follow first. They tend to chat first to like sort of gauge who you are as a streamer and the type of content that you do. Right? So that's the reason why I'm against with having followers only mode for chat.
Has that worked out for you?
Yeah, I've met a few people who came into chat and like followed after having a chat with them. I've had people who followed me but never chat, which just happened earlier. I'm still waiting for him or her to say yes or hi or something. But yeah, that's the kind of thing that because for me, you want to remove as many pain points or barriers or the quote-unquote consumers. Yay, marketing. I cannot stop lying. But yeah, that's the main is that the wolf's being stuck in a tornado.
Oh my god, the wolf got stuck in the tornado.
Yeah.
Oh, poor
Not PC
guy.
with me.
Oh no, where are you? I'm ready at the shimmering.
Yeah, I'm coming to you. But yeah, that's the reason why I turn it off, because I want to remove as many pain points as possible, so that people can like actually try things out. People right here.
Yeah, there's like 2 squads there, I think. That's interesting because I have a totally different experience with that.
Yeah, so yeah, that also falls under the person's experience. I've not had a bad first time chatter yet. So I'm pretty sure it has something to do with gender and also the type of content that you produce.
I think
There's
gender is
gender's
quite a big
yeah, it's
factor,
definitely a big
actually.
factor. Gender would be the biggest factor. I would agree with that.
Because for me, I have follower only chat on like basically from the get go. I have turned it off before and had bad experiences. No. No.
Brownie said, except for me, I get messages deleted first day. Brownie, I think that's a you problem.
You get messages deleted first. Wait, what?
Brownie gets his messages deleted on the first day joining the stream. Brownie, I think you're just being too comfortable with the streamers, that's why. Someone in my chat, Shai, said, from my experience, if they are there to interact, they want to interact first and see. I guess if that's the same frequency with them. Lesser engagement, oops. Less engagement if you turn follower only on. True. For example, if you want to grow or the growing factor will be there are a small streamer. If you get raided many times, you have chatters copy pasting the raid message along with the streamers they came with. They might not interact on the spot. Like myself, I wouldn't follow on the spot because I don't want to commit if I don't know them. The raids are a whole different thing.
Yeah, I think in general, like, it's a good, like, what you said is probably the recommended one. It has just never had good outcomes for me personally. Like, okay, initially I turned on follower only chat because, okay, to be totally frank, I turned on follower only chat back when I first started as a way to gain more followers. And no, it worked.
No, it makes sense. It actually does.
It worked. But then the I think it worked for the early like portions of the stream. The early months of the stream. But then I quickly realized that it was also having a good and unexpected side effect of just like allowing me to moderate my chat even further, because I did turn off follower only mode. I did experiment with like turning it off and turning back on again like a couple of times. Every single time I've turned it off, I've gotten the weirdest chatters ever. I've gotten like I get weird chatters even with follower mode on, you know. Like sometimes it's just the game that you're playing. Like for some reason Jackbox pulls all the weirdos out of the woodwork. Like I was playing Jackbox back, like I only saw the face camming recently, right? So I was a PNG tuber when this happened. This guy just came into chat and kept demanding to play a certain game, and I told him in a very polite way, I may add, saying that, you know, if you want to play this game, I'm sure there's like a lot of people streaming Jackbox now. Why don't you go and join a stream that's already playing the game, right? You know, the fact is I don't want to play that game and I want to play more of the trivia game, so like you'll be wasting your time by being here. And he literally responded by saying that, yeah, but you're the only person streaming Jackbox now that doesn't look like Quasimodo from Hunchback of Notre Dame. Bear in mind that I was a fucking PNG that somebody drew.
I'm surprised that you remember specifically what he called. what he said.
Yeah, because I was so shocked.
Sorry, can you repeat that again? You do not look like a what?
Because I don't look like Quasimodo from Hunchback of Notre Dame, and every other streamer looks like that. Everybody else who's streaming this game right now looks like that. And I was like, firstly, how dare you? Quasimodo is my boy.
Yeah.
I love the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Secondly, I'm a drawing. I don't think I even like if he came into stream now with that comment, right, I would roast the living heck out of him, right? But because I was fairly like, you know, still figuring it out back then, I just straight up banned him without saying a word.
Yeah. That is the fair thing to do.
Yeah.
That is the correct thing to do.
And that is with follower mode on. And every time I've turned it off, not to say that, I mean, I did get some wholesome people from turning follower mode off, but I wasn't a huge fan of the like interactions that came from it, because I would always get this one interaction, right, where people would chat with me for a while, and then they'll be like, oh, you're cool, you've earned the follow, and I'm like,
Oh. Yeah. Continue.
you think I care? Is what I want to say if I was being mean. Because really, like, I feel like some people are super entitled about that. For like, why? This is I feel like the way that they say it is the same vein as people who say like, oh, do this and I will give you a sub. Like, I don't want it. If you're gonna be like this, I don't want it. And, you know, just in general, like, by turning on follower only mode, I've noticed that the people that come into chat, like, are a bit more aware of the rules, at least. I do still get weirdos, yes. I don't think that will ever end. For anybody, yeah, for that matter. But
As Bo Burnham says, welcome to the internet.
I know, right?
Good show.
I know, right? Oh my god.
But yes, continue.
But yes, so I don't think that will ever change. But I like to think that it does kind of force people to be aware of what the channel is about before they join. At least I can hold out some hope that maybe, you know, before they were making the decision to follow, they've hung out a little bit to see if like the vibes of the chat and like my commentary and stuff like aligns with them. Maybe they've actually scrolled down to my panels to see like what I do. And that's enough for me. Like, that's enough deterrent for me, I think. And if there's still weirdos after that, then I'm more than happy to ban.
I'm fully aware that you're more than happy to ban.
Oh my god, Pangkang King said, but Quasimodo was a drawing too. You have a point. You're not wrong. You're not technically wrong. Oh my god.
That is just so sad.
I love the weird sub-theme of Disney like popping up from the what's the other one? Do you believe in magic? And then now Quasimodo.
It's just your brain that something is working in there.
Oh, not working.
Not working, yeah. Something's happening, that's for sure.
But yeah, for me, that's why I don't turn off follower only mode.
Wait, that's why you don't turn off?
Yeah, that's why I keep it on. I mean, yeah, I said that in a weird way.
Yeah, that's why I don't turn off follower mode. But yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So I kind of have a really different experience with that, and I wonder if it's a gender thing. But I think it could also be just a me thing.
I feel like it most likely is a gender thing though. Because, okay, this is gonna be a bit nerdy, but truthfully speaking, majority of Twitch viewers are male, and the males would always prefer to watch female streamers.
Makes sense.
So it's really just by chance everything's a number game that female streamers and you in this instance because you're the one who firsthand experienced it, that it's bound to happen to female streamers and it will happen to female streamers more often than male streamers.
But yeah, I don't
Find your
know.
gun.
It could also just be a me thing in the sense that it could also just be a me thing in that yeah, I mentioned this earlier in today's stream, but my boundaries are like quite tight. There are a lot of things that I'm not comfortable with, so whatever I can do to like mitigate weird stuff happening, the better for me, I think.
True. That's fair.
And I'll gladly take whatever downfalls that comes with turning on follower mode otherwise.
Yeah, but you still managed to grow your community in a very healthy way. I think that is definitely a plus side. Because a small healthy community is way better than a huge toxic community.
Yeah. Like I went to I was hanging out on this big streamer's stream a while ago. I believe she's based in UK. But yeah, her chat was a cesspool. Like
What do you
actually,
mean?
like she was a totally chill person and she was good at the thing is she was good at games. And she was playing the games that I love to watch as well. Like back then she was playing Cyberpunk, but she also plays like a lot of story heavy. She plays the games that I would play a lot basically, right?
Yep.
Except for the fact that she has been gaming since she was young and she plays everything on hard mode the like first try, which is cool.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's actually cool, yeah. Even I don't do that. Jeez.
But her chat, terrible. Like it didn't matter how often she repeated, you know, that no backseating, no foreshadowing, no nothing. People were relentless. Like
Yeah.
even her mods like could not control it.
Yeah, I think that really just falls under the gender thing. The gender stereotype of like girls are not good at games.
Yeah, and I was just thinking to myself then that like, yeah, no matter what, my channel cannot reach this stage. Because I will actually go
the
nuts, I
shotgun?
think.
Do you
I
want a
have
shotgun
a Evo Chrome one, so should be fine. But yeah, I do think that is a somewhat unique experience. Or a niche experience, I think. But
Yeah.
for the most part, it's good to keep it off. I think. Yeah. I mean, you had good experiences with it.
I'm getting shot.
Where are you?
I'm on the zipline. Right there.
Oh.
Ooh, that hurts.
But yeah, are there any other topics that we wanted to address
Well,
today that we haven't yet?
I'm gonna die. Actually, surprisingly, no. We've pretty much talked about what we wanted to talk about.
I guess final advice?
Would you like to
Because
start
it is
that
about
or?
one.
Yeah, we should also be ending soon. We've been live for 3.5, close to 3.5.
I wouldn't know because my stream died twice.
I'm here for that, don't worry.
Yeah, they're coming down.
Final advice for streamers or people who want to start streaming, huh?
But yeah, final advice. Oh wait. So Q said, I do have my take for the follow-only mod from the viewers or raiders POV posted in chat, but for some reason the second part of the message got flagged, so I sent it on Discord instead. Oh, okay. I think I saw it. It got flagged because it was too long, is it? I didn't even get to see it. I didn't even see it. It didn't even pop up. Because sometimes when they flag, it will pop up, right? But it didn't.
Yeah, it'll say the reason why.
Okay, this question popped up in my mind because in normal circumstances, I can get away with that turned on, but without any other prerequisites. Like, I got this one scenario when I was raiding someone. This streamer does have followers only chat, which is fine initially, because I'll just need to follow them to initiate the chat, but then I discovered that they also have a rule they need to follow for at least 10 minutes before you can start chat, which turns me off. Oh yeah. I also discovered that quite early on, which is why that was one of the first things I turned off immediately. Like, I have follower mode on, but I don't have any time prerequisites. So you can follow like 1 second and immediately start chatting. Yeah. It was meant as a like security precaution, so I get it.
I need help.
Oh, come on. It's okay.
But yeah, that's actually a good idea. I don't actually understand why people would want to do that as a streamer. If someone does do that, please do enlighten me. I'll be more than happy to engage in that.
For security reasons, right? Because some people will like follow and then just to like get through the door and then continue to like abuse it in a way, like either blatantly break rules or post something toxic and then leave, or it's just there for a security precaution. Like, I had it enabled like that for a while as well, but then it inherently like goes against the Twitch the rate system on Twitch. Like, it's just the cons of having that on, like the security cons, is just
Yeah, Brownie added on to your comment. It also helps with hate rates. Which is true.
I did get follow botted once. And I gotta say, if you're streamers in chat and you don't have Seribot on your chat as a chatbot yet, please get Seribot like immediately.
There is no better bot than Seribot.
Even if you think that you're never gonna get follow botted, or it's never gonna happen to you because your channel is too small, or you just don't think it's gonna happen, it will happen. Because sometimes they even purposely target like niche streamers just to see the reaction, because they've gotten really, really like advanced with it, where the followers that come in are no longer just like random key smash. It will actually look like people's usernames. So like it's really, really mean, because some people like who don't know better will literally just start tanking people who follow, but they're just bots. So like the people who follow bot rate are like terrible. Because they're just emotionally manipulating you the whole way. But Sari has a database of all these like common bot accounts, and they will immediately ban and block every single user.
Yeah.
So if you see a lot of followers come in, but Sari like immediately starts banning, then you know it's a follow bot. It's a follow rate.
They also have the function of hate rates, where it will automatically change. Someone say, by the way. It will automatically change chat to subscribers only. It will turn on emotes only. It will basically collect a list of who is following you during that time and will ban them and kick them after they've done doing whatever it is that they do. So Seribot really is a useful bot. If you think, like Ned said, if you don't think you're gonna get follow botted, trust me, you'll never know.
Yeah, you want to be prepared for it. I mean, it's usually Sari makes it quite simple, because basically all you have to do, like Sari will do all the heavy lifting. What you have to do is immediately remove Streamlabs from your stream. Like you can't even turn it off because I tried turning it. I've tried hiding it before, but it doesn't stop the sounds from coming through. So I've actually had to like entirely remove the Streamlabs source and
Ah,
then just wait for it to like play out, I suppose.
yeah, I know what you mean. For that, it's because you will need to go into your audio mixer, advanced properties, and turn it off separately. Because
Yeah,
turning it
it's
off on sources just turns off the visual, does not turn off the notification that goes through.
yeah. I now that OBS is quite advanced and you can do audio separation, like my audio is separated for every single source that I have right now so that I can control it better since I swap between PC and console like so often. So everything, literally everything is a separate audio input now for me. So if I ever get follow botted again, cross fingers, I'll just turn off the audio input for Streamlabs and that should stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because back then I actually had to fully remove it in order to make it stop.
Someone's up there.
But yeah, back to what we were talking about. The final advice? Any final advice before we wrap for the day?
Get Cerebot.
Wow. Okay, let me word it like this because I really liked it the other day. When I was doing my affiliate anniversary stream, I believe it was Donut who asked in chat, what advice would you give to yourself if you could give any advice to yourself like the first day that you started streaming? What would it be?
Huh. Interesting.
Right?
I would say definitely never ever see streaming as anything but a hobby. Is what I'll say.
Was there a point where you saw it as more than a hobby?
I was grinding out I was grinding out streaming with content generation, so I was doing a lot of other TikToks and whatnot. And it became you can have that. I don't like burst rifle. When I was constantly trying to make TikToks out of every stream that I was doing, I realized I kind of killed the joy out of it for me.
Oh, because you were like constantly thinking about what could be a TikTokable moment.
Yes.
I
And
get that.
you are always your worst critic. So things that people might find funny or like a good TikTok moment, I might not see it the same way. And it was at that time as well that I wanted to take streaming a bit more seriously. So it became to me like a hobby, but a bit beyond. I don't know
Basically,
if
you were trying to see if there was any possibility you could convert it into a career lah, right?
Yep. Like it was
So
at
there
that
was some
testing
measure of
phase.
hope.
Yeah, it was that testing phase of like, can this actually be a thing where I can just, not to say do it full time, but like make it into a freelance kind of work where I will do, and then hopefully it will make some money. But when I was going through that, I really felt like it definitely killed the joy of streaming. So yeah, my advice, if I could tell it to my younger self, would be just view streaming as a hobby, as a place to connect with people. Yeah, I would say that's pretty much my advice. Just view streaming as a hobby. Everything else will come naturally afterwards. What about you? What would your advice be to your younger self when you first started streaming?
Firstly, I want to say that I like your advice. I think it's very valid because a lot of people, I think, especially these days, kind of start because it's already proven that you can have a career as a content creator. So it kind of, it's easy to forget how difficult it actually is to make it a career, right? But yeah, I think it's really good advice. It sort of just sets expectations in place, right?
Yeah.
Like we hear so often the nightmare story of somebody who quits their job and like goes into streaming full time and like just losing all their money because truthfully it's so difficult to be a full-time streamer, content creator, anything. Like in fact, most of the successful content creators that we know, I mean we touched about this in the last episode, so I'm not gonna go too deeply into it. But the gist is that even the most popular content creators that we know, quote unquote, have side jobs, have day jobs. Maybe their day jobs
Yeah.
are not so intense, and content creation gives them the liberty of having like slightly more chill day jobs where they can just kind of like, they don't have to focus too much on it, right? Maybe they're a teacher on the side, maybe they do hosting and stuff, but either way they have something that is providing the income, the steady income that they need.
Yeah.
But for me, I mean, my advice hasn't changed from the last time I answered that question.
I wasn't there for it.
I know.
But
So
yes,
yeah.
what is your advice?
My advice was that. Oh wait, hold on. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh, Q says streaming or content creation as a whole is a volatile career. Do not ever start it primarily as your main job. Yeah.
Also, circles closing.
But I think it's totally valid. Like it's still worth saying, even though most people I think know this by now, but it's still worth saying because there are still a lot of people who don't realize this. They are like living the American dream or whatever.
To all that.
But yeah, my advice was it's okay to say no. And it's not
Right in the
worth
bush.
it to no, yeah, my advice was that it's okay to say no, that it's okay to immediately ban people just because they don't they don't meet the vibe check. Like you don't need a valid reason for booting people out, contrary to whatever you might believe, because it's just not worth it, short term or long term, to have them around. Like for me, it specifically for me, it haunted me a lot, right? That this person like didn't make me feel comfortable but didn't do anything overtly wrong, and I couldn't find like a proper reason to ban them. But then what that resulted in was me constantly looking for a proper reason to ban them, and that already just means that I can't vibe with this person, you know.
You might want to heal up first.
And they're like dead to me, so like you know, there's really no point like forcing yourself to try and make it work with a viewer who you have bad vibes with. And it's fine to just say like no to people, and even if the only reason you have to give them is that it's because I'm the streamer and I say so.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually do wanna agree on that a lot, because you don't have to feel guilty for banning people. Really, it's your channel, your safe space. If people are being dicks about it, just ask them to kindly fuck off.
If they still don't want to listen, just ban them. Like you should not feel guilty or bad or anything for banning people from your channel.
Yeah, and I mean at this point, like, to be honest, there are very few cases where I'm unsure of whether to ban a person anymore. Like, usually, if I ban a person, they feel off to me like the moment they start chatting. And like sometimes I don't even need them to like say anything that seems wrong. I just like immediately like lay down the ban hammer, and sometimes in fact sometimes I'm nice because the mods are being nice. Like the mods are giving second chances and third chances and giving warnings. I'm like, okay, yeah, they're giving warnings, so like I'll give them a chance because chat is willing to give them a chance. But I'm always right. I don't know what to say. I've been right so far. I've been right.
Patty, don't you think?
No, I mean, I get, you know, like, wanting to give people a chance and everything, but, like, unfortunately, I haven't been wrong so far. Really. It's like, wow. I was just saying, maybe women's intuition, maybe?
Could be. Because I've not felt anything off yet, so... Just by our current statistics of one guy and one girl. It seems its odds are right, basically. A 50-50 chance. One last game?
Yeah, sure. I might swap to power washing after this. But yeah, one last game to
I really
round
thought
out.
you wouldn't.
Huh?
I really thought you weren't going to, because it's already so late.
It's okay. It's an okay
It
hour.
would not be Nat. It would not be Nat if she did not finish with the power wash.
I haven't power washed in a while, so you know. Anyway, how about twist on the question to wrap it up? Since we answered what advice we would give ourselves, what advice would we give to newbie streamers, or maybe perhaps streamers who are trying to like surmount the challenge of hitting affiliate, which I guess is also like newbie streamers.
Yeah. I think we can define the question a bit more. If you were to hit affiliate, what advice would you give to someone who's trying to push for it?
Wait, Nat never answered my second one.
What's your second one? Oh, thank you, lag.
Oh, give a person a second chance though. Who knows what would happen if you banned me the first time I harassed you?
Is that Brownie?
Yeah, it's Brownie.
Of course.
I mean, I do give people second chances, right? Like, sometimes, you know, you can tell when a person is just maybe taking a joke too far or something. And if you tell them, sometimes they like tone it down, which is fine. But there are some people who like clearly don't care. You know what I mean? Like, you can tell. There's the vibes.
I mean, yeah, it goes back to what I mentioned earlier about some people just don't know the social etiquette of Twitch. So do you need help or are you good?
I just downed 2 people. I just downed 3 people. All these are separate teams. Okay, 1 team done. Where's the rest?
There's one guy there. By the truck.
But yeah, where were we before we started talking about murder simulators? Technically, I only exclusively play murder simulators, if you think about it.
We were talking about what advice would you give to...
Right.
Yes.
We didn't even get into that because we immediately tangented, right?
Yeah.
Right. So what advice would you give to streamers who are trying to hit affiliate, which I think is the most stressful period for anybody who is just starting streaming?
Also, I sent you the name of the game in the chat.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
I think you'll enjoy that a lot.
Okay, I'll check it out.
My advice is really just
How do I? Because if I want to say make friends first, but then some people might view it as like make friends with streamers and then like hope that they'll raid you and stuff and help you with the push. Which sounds very methodical, which I don't think is the right advice to give. But at the same time, it's kind of truthful. Like, the affiliate push should not be a numbers game, especially the 3 average viewers. It should not be a numbers game. It should more be about using that reasoning as an excuse to make new friends on Twitch. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that.
But I think there's a lot to be said about like what is the best way to approach this. Like obviously the Twitch affiliate / partner whatever is going on there is not the ideal way, but if you were to ask me what is the ideal way also, I don't know if I could answer that. Like there's just a huge imbalance like between the affiliate requirements and the partner requirements now. There's even people I've seen who argue that affiliate requirements should be higher.
Interesting.
Yeah, just so it's like more balanced out, because you can do the affiliate grind and then it takes so long before you hit, like before you even come close to being partner, that is really like demotivating, which I totally get. I think I'm more of the mindset that the affiliate perks, like being able to earn money from Twitch, getting to put in emotes and all that, like should be default requirements of, or at least channel points, right? I feel like should be a default feature, yeah. And if you wanna lock emotes and subs, yeah, even subs behind the affiliate title, I think that's fine. But I think it's really ridiculous that like channel points, which is such an integral part of Twitch, is locked behind something stupid like affiliate.
I agree.
Because so much of the way that I would encourage like channel growth is through having like cool channel points. Okay, if I had any advice for people trying to hit affiliate, actually no, I totally agree with you about having a network of streamer friends. I do see how it could be misconstrued as like being opportunistic. And yeah, I guess it comes down to like going into it with the right mindset, right? Like you said earlier, it's unfortunate that we have to disclaim something like that, because I feel like by default you should be going into it like with the mindset of making friends instead of, you know, trying to farm views or follows. But yeah, it's worth disclaiming because there are all sorts of people out there now.
I don't know what happened.
Did you fall and die?
No, I got out of the car. The car was ramping up, so when it landed on me, for some reason it flew me off. Okay, let me read your chat. Focus.
Okay, yeah, you read out Ronnie's chatter. I will run.
Yeah, I thoroughly disagree with increasing the difficulty to get affiliate. I started streaming back in May of 2020, but I only got affiliate in early 2022. There were other factors, but that initial push is already quite difficult. Yeah, that's true. Oh, the chicken's gonna kill you. Please, chicken, kill that. I think what Twitch should do is to have like a middle ground instead between affiliates. Someone was in the car. Affiliates and partners. Like Nat showed me the other day that there is one level above partner, which is Twitch ambassadors, which I don't know what the benefits are for that.
I'm also not sure what the benefits are for that actually.
I'm pretty sure
Except that
they.
you get a unique badge.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have to sign an NDA, like it's a proper NDA.
Exclusivity or something.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, they should introduce another level between. Then again, Twitch is already cutting partners' revenue of 50 of the 70, the 30-70 split to 50-50 split, same as affiliates.
Yeah.
So I don't really see a point right now for it as well.
I don't agree. Yeah, I don't agree that I just saw that that was somebody's take on Twitter, which you know what Twitter is like.
Twitter is Twitter.
But I do kind of get the sentiment. But I think the solution is not to make it harder. But to have a middle ground, and or just having more features available from the get go, like channel points. I think like if there were some features like channel points and maybe some very limited like emote slots available from the get-go even before hitting affiliate, then it would be justified if they were to make hitting affiliate a bit harder. But the problem is that without being affiliate on Twitch is so unfriendly to streamers. I mean, yeah, that's why like hitting affiliate being as easy as possible like makes sense now. But if it were better balanced out, I could see a world where the affiliate gets higher requirements, but then it would require Twitch to give things for free, which we know they hate to do that.
Amazon.
So... but yeah, for newbie streamers, I mean, if it's my advice, I would probably just I'll probably just reiterate what I said earlier, albeit very briefly. But what I said was, if you are a new streamer, and I think one of the biggest challenges is figuring out your identity as a streamer, practice some self-reflection, I think, as you decide what kind of content you want to make. Because it's really important that the content is something that you enjoy, but also something that emphasizes your strengths. And if you can find the sweet spot between two of these points, then I think growth should come naturally from there. I think it's just like marketing strategy in that sense.
True.
Like if I wanted to be like really hard and cold about it, you can obviously emphasize your strengths by like discarding some things that makes you comfortable, right? Some people are able to do that, to their credit, right? Some people can really detach who they are as a streamer and like capitalize 100% on what makes them like work as a streamer without it affecting their like core personality, like their own personal self, which like credit to them, right? But I know most people aren't able to. I'm not able to, you know?
I definitely can't either.
Yeah. That's like next level of being an entertainer, I think. It really takes a certain kind of person, but I think most people can't, which is why my advice would be to just find that sweet spot. Yeah. Like start with what makes you feel comfortable and see how people react to that. And just like fine tune it from there and focus on the things that like emphasize your strengths. And usually like people in chat will like, you can kind of tell, like even without the viewer count being up or any stats being up, like I think you can see from like chat what people like what moments people are chatting on, and what they're chatting to you about, and that should give like some starting indication, I think, of like what they like about your content, and you know, take it from there.
True. Also, just one last question before we wrap up, because I think this is an interesting one.
One came into my chat and asked, what advice would you give to someone who is very introverted in their lifestyle but wants to do something like video content creation? What style of content creating would you give advice on? So this is actually the reason why I want to answer this. Perhaps we can have another conversation about this more in depth. So I'll just go vaguely. I'll just tip my toes into it. The reason why I want to answer this question is because I'm actually figuring out that myself. Like,
PNG Styra hit pads.
Are you giving me hit pads? God damn it. But yeah, like that's actually something I'm also figuring out myself on. I don't have the answer, but one of the things that I one just redeem hit pad on my channel. One of the things that I would actually advise in terms of what type of content creation you want to try on is definitely try to do TikTok videos. Especially
Meme clips, you mean?
Sorry?
Like clips from stream?
I'm guessing,
Or just like straight up TikToks, you mean?
I'm guessing one speaking about one. Can you clarify? Do you mean like creating clips from stream, or do you mean content creation as a separate thing? Content creation from stream, because that's one thing you have to clarify with me. Are you talking content creation as streaming or content creation as like making videos? Content creation as a separate thing? I think what you need to do is figure out what type of content you really want to do. I'm still somewhat figuring out. Like I actually do plan to do a slight experiment with my content for TikTok, which is that I plan to do like a mini vlog of Comic Fiesta.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because right now my TikTok is just purely clips of my own stream, which is great. You know, it's repurposing content. But there are also other streamers and content creators who not only post clips of their streams but also like do dedicated videos for their TikTok. And really what advice I can give now is just scrolling through this is gonna sound funny, but my advice is to just keep scrolling through TikTok until you find something that you enjoy, and then check that person out, see what type of other contents that they do,
Get inspiration,
and
right?
get inspired by that. Yeah, like I don't have one in mind, but there are a couple of TikTok creators that I actually follow. Like they are dedicated TikTok creators. They're not even on anything else. Yeah, I guess that would be my advice for now. Killer Q ask, oh yeah, I want to ask, any advice for non-talkative streamers? Brownie answers with, I struggle with this too. I would say try to narrate what you're doing and what you're thinking. Think out loud. Take Genshin, for example. There's a lot of things you can react or narrate to. Oh, this artifact is terrible. I want to get some materials for this character. Why am I building this character even though they're not in the meta? Why in the world are these events insanely difficult? And so on and so forth. Narrate what you're thinking. I completely agree with Brownie on this, Killer Q. If the one thing you will definitely see when you start streaming is the fact that there'll be a lot of dead space. A lot of like airtime on stream that you do not talk. And that comes very naturally. Like let's say a great example was the 2 fights ago, I think, or something, where Ned and I won the first place. When we were focused on that, we didn't talk at all, even though, you know, this is supposed to be a podcast. And those moments are fine because those feel very tense to you, and the viewers can see that in you by the way that you're playing. And if you're a flesh tuber like Nat now, like they can see that you're very focused on it. But if you're more worried about space that is when nothing is happening, honestly, the best practice, and this will be something that might take some time, is to narrate what you think. Whatever you're thinking in your head while playing any game on stream, always say it out loud. Obviously, please don't say anything that's against TOS. You are still an entertainer and a public figure in that sense. Even if, let's say, your numbers are less than 5, you are still a public figure to those 5 people. But you need to make sure that you need to give people the chance to communicate with you, to have a conversation with you. Like when you're going out with your friends, obviously the one way to communicate and hang out is to say what you're thinking. So it's the same thing with streaming as well. Like the best kind of chatters and viewers are the ones that actively chat and actively comment. Everyone yearns for that. I think that's a very normal thing to have because you come to Twitch to talk to people, right? So you need to give them the chance to join in that conversation. If let's say there is a new person that comes into your chat and they say hi and you just say hi back, that ends the conversation. So you need to actively try to create chances for people to have a conversation with you. Not really a problem when I'm playing single player games, but it just, I don't know what to talk about when streaming Fall Guys. Okay, so yeah, no, that's accurate. That's a valid point to bring up. Like what would, like, it really depends on the game. Like let's say in Fall Guys, literally it's just a tournament like game where nothing much happens. My advice for that is still the same. Say whatever it is that you're thinking of to give people the opportunity to join in and comment or say based off what you based on what you said. Like you need to give them the space to engage conversation. Do you need to give them the chance to initiate conversation? Does that help with your question, Killer Q? One asks, do you feel a little uncomfortable or cringeworthy when you try to create a video content or either TikTok, YouTube, Twitch? For example, you saw a short video on TikTok you like, but somehow it would feel cringy in making contents as similar. Apologies. No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Do you feel a little uncomfortable or cringeworthy when you try to create TikTok videos? For example, you saw a short video on TikTok, but somehow the TikTok you like, but somehow it feels cringeworthy. Just want to check one regarding the second half of your question. You mean you feel cringeworthy in making contents that are similar to that, right? So let's say, for example, welcome back.
Hi.
Ew.
Sorry, that took longer than expected because I had to talk to my parents.
That felt very short, but it's fine.
Oh, okay. Even better.
I'm going through one's question first, which is that do you feel uncomfortable or cringeworthy when you try to make videos for either TikTok, YouTube, or Twitch? For example, you saw a short video on TikTok you like, but somehow it would feel cringy when you are making in the video. I think that's fair. It's normal to feel that it might not suit your brand or your personality. Like, okay, I will admit that I do find TikTok videos of females calling themselves mommy enjoyable. I will admit that for a fact. But doesn't mean I'm gonna make a video of me calling people daddy. And Nat, I have your stream up. I can see your face.
Good.
Like, the content that you enjoy consuming is not the same as the content that you create. That is something everyone needs to know. Why are you flicking my head?
Revenge.
So, one, to answer your question, I would highly suggest exploring a bunch of different content to create, not to consume. For example, movies that you like watching may not be movies that you enjoy creating. Or even same with video games. Video games that you enjoy playing may not be the same as video games that you enjoy creating, because they are very two different processes.
I guess
So
it comes back to like comfort level, right? Like
yeah,
even with
basically.
Mon's question about how to start doing like videos if you are an introverted person, it totally comes down to comfort levels. I don't think you need to force yourself to be something you're not. And if you do, it will come through your content. So take like baby steps, and you can try things and not like them and don't do them ever again. There's no rule that like once you start doing something you have to keep on doing it. I think the benefit of like starting out is you get to try a bunch of things, and if you don't like them, just like drop it.
Yep.
But I guess it is like inherently cringe. Is memang inherently cringe lah. I mean, what's the thing that people say? To become the cringe, embrace the cringe.
Embrace the cringe, yes.
Ah.
Sometimes I would advise to embrace the cringe. Because opinions change over time. Things that you like will change over time.
I mean, I would say
Maybe-
I'm like a
Maybe
streamer
you won't
that
like it
doesn't
now.
embrace the cringe much.
Really?
Not that much,
can't-
right?
You can't see my face, but I'm giving you the eye shrugs, really. Not the eye shrugs, the raised eyebrow, I mean. You don't
I
embrace the cringe.
mean, I think
Sure,
like
Nat,
people
sure.
have different like levels of cringe, right? Like there are lines that I will never cross in my content, and there are some that are like fine.
Fair enough.
So yeah, it comes down to comfort level.
Agreed. We have not answered Killer Q's question, which is, but what if there is no response? How do you deal with that?
I guess the first part is any advice for non-talkative streamers?
Yeah, and I basically agreed with what Brownie said. It's just that whatever thing you're thinking about, say it out loud, because that allows you to create conversation starters with people.
I mean, yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much get comfortable talking to yourself. I mean, even now, like when I stream also, I always have the feeling that I'm like largely talking to myself. But I don't know. I might just be the kind of person that's like very comfortable talking. Even if nobody's listening, I'll just be sitting in the corner of a room by myself, like talking to myself.
Yeah.
Is that why there are so many content creators with ADHD? It's just like open the tab.
I genuinely would not be surprised.
I mean, at this point, Jacksepticeye has ADHD. Markiplier has
Mark-
ADHD.
Yeah,
Crank
isn't Mark as well?
Gameplays. Ethan has ADHD.
Honestly,
Aaron
I kinda
Hansen from
knew it.
Game Grumps has ADHD.
I kind of
Ross
knew Crank
O'Donovan
Gameplays
has ADHD. So,
yeah,
and a lot more.
The big boys. The big boys have ADHD.
So maybe there's like a big correlation. So I don't really know if I can answer that question because it. Yeah, it's not something
Sorry.
I struggle with.
No. I just had the dumbest advice. What do
Okay.
all the big content creators have in common? ADHD. Solution: get ADHD. Oh my god, I'm so dumb.
So painful. My brain hurts.
I hate the fact that my mind went there.
My brain hurts, bruh. Even Q says bruh. But yeah, what you do you wanna expand on that advice at all?
What, get ADHD?
No, like I think what the follow-up question, what if there's no responses, how do you deal with that? I think that one also I can add on to, kinda.
Uh,
Oh my god, I love Juan's take on this. Do you hear voices in your head? Like, are you able to have a conversation with yourself? Like, to have like when you're thinking, or is it like a blank emptiness? Also, I just got rid of what?
Yeah.
Okay, to give some context, Q was asking if we have any advice for non-talkative streamers, and what happens if there's no responses, even if you like talk to yourself and commentate. How do you deal with that? And then one asked, do we hear voices in our head that we have conversations with? Do we have imaginary friends? No. I don't know, for me, I mean, even when I was first starting to stream, even though it might be something that comes a bit easier to me, possibly because of my ADHD, even when I first started streaming, there was kind of like a culture shift, not culture shift, but like a mindset shift, because streaming is not something, or even like talking to yourself or like constantly presenting anything isn't something that you do naturally as part of your day-to-day, like anything. So even when I started, it was yeah, there was some like mindset shift involved. Also, Val, battery ran out. I already need to hit the hay soon. Yeah, go and sleep if you need to. Good night. Thank you again for the raid. Also, glad to hear that your stream went well. But yes, what was I saying? Yeah, I guess I was getting into the habit of just saying whatever comes to mind.
Yep.
In kind of like almost a shameless way. Like detaching the shame associated with just talking to yourself and just like laughing at your own jokes. Like I even like now, yeah, even now, like it's not like chat is active all the time. Um Sometimes like we have lurk days where everybody's like chilling and I'm playing a game that's chill as well, and you know, I'm really into a game. Like in fact, I think my mind is so in tune with the idea of just like I'm talking to myself the entire time. Sometimes when I'm commentating on games, I'm not even really like talking to anybody about it. I'm just thinking out loud. Um and even when I joke, I'm like joking with myself.
If you don't know, Nat laughs at her own jokes a lot.
I mean, I guess I've found a way to have fun with it.
She has accepted her fate. Her cringiness.
No, I've embraced the cringe. I've become one with the cringe.
She is the cringe.
What will I do with this power? But yeah, how do you deal with it, Styra? I think you and I have
Honestly?
different experiences with this.
If chat is inactive and even though you're like constantly talking, like my my advice would be just keep playing. Because for me, how I do it is that I kind of switch off my brain about the fact that I'm streaming. Like especially like during the start of my streams, not many people will join in straight away. So in my head, I'm just thinking like, okay, I'm just playing a game, and if anyone shows up, then they're there. I don't think of it as streaming for a while until like I see more people are being more active in chat.
Ooh, interesting.
But if we're talking about like midstream, like you're talking to everyone, chat is going off, don't know what the hell they usually do, and then like suddenly chat just dies, it does hit hard for me to like turn that switch back on. For that, I don't have an advice just yet because I'm also still figuring out myself. But if let's say because Killer Q used the example of Fall Guys, like for example Fall Guys, just try to have that mindset instead of the fact that you're just playing a game, that you're not really streaming. Because for me in the end as well is the fact that I don't see my streams as a place for people to like come for conversations. It's more of like a cafe that you go to, order your drink, and then just sit down
Aw,
and
that's
enjoy the
cute.
show. That's how I view my streams. That's why personally I'm fine with my chat being inactive. Like whenever people say that they have something to do, like they have work or they need to lurk and everything, I will always say that do what you have to do. I'm just here for background noise. Yeah. I don't know if that's degrading. Not degrading. That's the word. It's not degrading. I can't think of it right now.
I mean,
Do you know what?
it's like a mindset shift, right? And I
Mm,
mean, even personally, for me, there are some days where I'm very, very dependent on chat for energy, and um, I reflect the energy of the chat, right?
mm,
So like, if chat gets negative or um, not so much like dies out, but yeah, if chat like takes a more like downward tone and stuff, like it does affect me mentally. Um
that's fair.
and I guess it's a similar feeling as well to like chat's really active all of a sudden and then suddenly it's not. And I kind of try to just stay in like the default state of me talking to myself. Like that's just where I am like by default. Um and if chat like yeah, I guess like especially as the channel has grown a bit more and chat gets like active and stuff, I I just don't, I try not to forget that I'm the one steering the conversation. You know what I mean? Like chat is welcome to have like their own conversations and like talk to each other in chat and everything. Um but it's important for me to kind of always be leading the conversation, if that makes sense. Because for me it's very it's what helps me like keep the like commentary going, right?
True.
Yeah, because if you I found that if I get like really derailed by chat, especially if I'm like I mean if I get really derailed by chat, then like I truly get derailed by chat, you know, and it's really difficult for me to like bounce back, you know.
I've witnessed that firsthand multiple times.
So I usually go into streams like now with the mindset of, you know, I'm leading this conversation and you know, sometimes we will deviate and we'll go along the like conversation threads of what the chat is going through. But only if it makes sense to me in that time. Like if it's like the flow of the conversation at that time. Cause and I don't know if you've experienced this before. I mean, I'm sure you have, but it might be fine for you because you do a lot more like super chill streams, co-working streams, that kind of thing, where people are welcome to lurk and you're playing like Genshin and even like Fortnite, right? For example, Apex, right?
Yeah.
Where people will come into chat and like ask to talk about a specific topic, or they will bring up the topic with the intention of like wanting to hear your thoughts about it and stuff, which honestly, like, I mean, when I was starting to stream, it was some like I basically like entertain every single thing that would come in, even if like it would bring the conversation from like A to Z, you know.
Yeah.
But these days, if it's really some like request to talk about something that's coming out of nowhere and it doesn't really like fit what I'm talking about at the moment, I tend to ignore it these days because it totally derails like the mindset that I get in when I start to stream. Like it will actually my mind will get so I just know my mind at this point. It will get so caught up in that and what I'm gonna say in response to that and like where I'm gonna take it from there that like it's actually better if I just ignore it and then like focus on what I really need to focus on because I play a lot of like narrative games, right? So sometimes I just need to like focus into that, you know, that headspace.
Yeah, I can understand that for you, because I know you do have
Squirrel
some
brain,
problems. I was about to say
monkey
problems
brain.
focusing. I was about to be nice and say yeah, problems focusing. For me, I if it's something that completely is off topic, I would just give like a comment or two about it and just leave it. And when I do give that comment, I try not to make space for the conversation to continue.
Yeah, that makes sense. That
Yeah.
makes sense. But
Unless
we,
it's a unless it's like a
uh,
topic that that like that
oh yeah, that you're
unless
like personally interested in, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then in that case, yeah, even I also like chime in and stuff.
Mm.
We
But yeah,
deviated
I
a
mean
bit far though
yeah,
from the original question.
a bit,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, it I guess is finding that like comfort level with yourself. I mean, everything comes back to comfort. Um,
Mm.
like I definitely have a hit space that I go into when I stream, and sometimes it sometimes I feel off, you know, when I start stream because I haven't fully gone into that mindset yet, and it takes a while for me to slip into it, especially if I'm like going from work meeting, work meeting, work meeting, immediately jumping into streaming, right? I cannot shift my mindset fast enough.
I
Yeah.
understand.
But you know, knowing the mindset is there, and yeah, it helps. It helps, but it requires practice for sure. Cause I mean, this whole like talking to yourself thing is not a natural behavior.
It is not.
It's not a natural
Okay,
behavior, but I do still
if
think it's a good thing to do, lah. Because especially if you're like trying to grow your channel, who knows, like something you might say like off the cuff might pull people into chat with you for the first time. It's anyway, it's
mm,
infinitely better than staying silent.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because even when I like find new people to rate, I don't usually rate people who are like staying silent. Because yeah, you
Um,
don't get like a sense of who they are,
true.
what they're like.
Sorry, I just want to chime in. The advice just came into my head. One practical advice I can give, something that I did quite a lot during my early days of streaming, is actually play with a friend. Even if that friend is not a streamer, play with someone. Mainly because you have, especially like let's say it's your IRL friend that you play on a regular, it will feel very natural to you and to your friend to just keep the conversation going. It's just that the difference is you have chat, you have a view, you have viewers.
Yeah, I think I was
But
very lucky at the start to have like a
yeah,
few people
same.
that I really hit it off with and like made for entertaining content as well. Because sometimes like you hang out with friends, but it doesn't necessarily like translate to entertaining content.
True.
Uh, but the friends that I collabed with like had a good sense of what would be entertaining for streams and stuff. So it was good.
Mm,
It was a good collab.
yeah. I mean, if you can make friends and collab with other streamers, that would be like the most ideal thing. But you also have to remember streamers are introvert by nature. I feel like I hardly I can I cannot name a solid 10 streamer, even big streamers who are like extrovert by nature. So they may take some time to warm up to play games with you, if that is your end goal. So just be sure that if you are talking to streamers, be sure that the first and foremost is that you are there for a genuine friendship. Because it's very easy for streamers to know, like, oh, this person is here just to play games with me or just for the clout. It's very quick. Streamers will pick that up very quickly. So yeah, if you can't make friends with streamers to collab with, bring your IRL friends that are comfortable with being streamed.
Yeah, my first two like streaming partners that really like eased me into streaming were IRL friends, and specifically were IRL friends who we loved like talking shit with each other. Like it wasn't just
Yeah.
that like we liked gaming with each other, because like I feel like you can game with like most friends these days, but it doesn't necessarily like translate into good commentary, entertaining commentary. But
True.
these two friends were like, we shit on each other and we like talk shit so much that
That is the
it
best
made
kind
it
of friend.
entertaining. Yeah, like I remember Haru and I playing the Dark Pictures anthology, and every time like there was a I kept killing off my characters because my reflexes were not fast enough, and like by the end game I was like, Haru, please do it for me, please. And she was like, Nat, why do you keep throwing the difficult things to me? It was fun. It was fun. Yeah, I need to get the new one so that we can play together.
I think that
I think that kind of wraps it up. Yeah, that was a
I
good
can't remember.
session.
It definitely felt it definitely felt better in the sense of the concisiveness, if that is the right word.
Oh, compared to episode
yeah.
1?
Yes. I
Yeah.
feel like we definitely improved a lot more.
Yeah. It was a good episode. So I guess the question now is, which we can discuss off stream, I suppose. Do we want to do another session that's just the two of us, or do we want to bring in a guest?
Let us ask chat. Let's chat decide.
Really?
Yeah, we can do a poll real quick. I'll do one on mine and you do one on yours.
Okay.
We have, okay, just to let chat know, we do have a guest in mind. Somewhat. We have a few people in mind that we would like to ask, but we have not, nor have we told them the interest of having them on. But yeah, what would you guys like to see for the next episode? Guests or no guests for the next Fortcast episode? And you just got rated again.
Oh, Justin! Wait, I can only focus on one thing at a time. Have a guest stick to two of us first. Okay, I'll run like a 3-minute poll. Justin, thank you for raids. So sorry, none of my raid alerts are working. I mean, it's working, but I muted it because of the podcast. But do they need to be able to play Fortnite? Yes!
If they don't play Fortnite, they're not invited.
I mean, we can do Fortnite where we can... It actually doesn't really matter if they like... Okay, if they don't know how to play and we have to teach them from scratch, we could start the episode by teaching them how to play, and then we just jump right into it.
That's gonna be like a 5-hour episode, just saying.
No lah.
Or maybe even 6.
Just
even
the
this
basics,
episode
because it doesn't matter
hours.
like how much they die or what, because it's mainly just like to keep in the background, right? And I'm sure we can carry them. Come on.
That is also true.
Maybe. Oh, but yeah, Justin. Hi. Anyway, I think we're wrapping up. I'm gonna swap to power washing for a little bit, then I can properly introduce myself and stuff. But yeah,
Yeah,
is there anything?
you can stop the game first, because I'm just waiting for the poll to end.
Nah, let's do our like full outro and stuff in Fortnite.
What outro? What? What?
I don't
I'm
know.
supposed to prep an outro?
Like, I don't know. Thank you, bye.
I mean, sure. I guess I'll do my outro. I guess I'll do an outro. Thank you everyone for joining in Fortcast episode 2. We deeply appreciate it, and I hope you guys find our conversations as insightful as we hope it is. If you guys have any questions, any comments, or anything that you guys want to add in, or perhaps even suggest topics that you guys would like us to do, feel free to send it in chat. We have our Discords. Nat has her own, and I have my own. !Discord, hopefully on both channels. And you guys can shoot your suggestions there. Our next episode will be next Friday, which will be the 10th of December. So keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, hope you all have a good night, and Nat, hope you have a good power washing sim session.
Thank you.
Hey. Until then, we'll see you guys next time.
Cause I can't do shit right, I can't learn my lesson. I can't do shit right, take antidepressants. Illness and welfare robbed my adolescence. My friends probably hate me, can't answer a message.